You say Saturday Night Live on AP Studios. Let's talk. I already see Rakesh in here, Luke, Jeff and Leslie Wildlife, Roy Bigsby. How you doing, Roy? Greg Corker, Ryan Luna, David Stewart, and Mark Lynch. Already quite a few of you in the chat. I was over there chatting just a minute ago, kicking this off. All right, so we got a few new lights in the studio. I know some people have noticed. Trying to get this set up. This is going to be the preliminary. Make sure I've got everything set up if and when I do move, which I hope will be sooner rather than later, getting down to Tennessee in better weather. Hope everybody's doing well tonight or today, depending on where you're at. Not much been going on in the photo world. A few rumors out there on the Nikon side anyway, with the lenses and a few others. More Z6, Z7 firmware updates are rumored, so we have no idea what it's going to be yet, but it's always nice to know that Nikon's continuing to pursue that. D Moots, how you doing, buddy? David, Kansas City Chiefs party. All right. Have a good time, brother. Have a good time. All right. Make sure all my other settings are right. Supercross has started, and I'm a big Supercross fan, so I have Supercross up on another screen in here so I can watch the live timing and scoring going on. It's not on TV. It's like everything else. You got to pay to watch everything anymore. Kevin, how you doing? Hassan, good to see you. Grits up, buddy. Grits up. All right. Really don't have a topic for tonight. Hero Shot's in here early too. Good to see you. Yeah, like I said, I really don't have a topic for tonight. That doesn't matter because you guys always bring the topic. So kick this thing off. Sorry, checking a few other things here real quick. Oh, I do have something I'm missing. We can fix that. Bam. All right. Good to see you too, Kevin. Nikon still supplying firmware updates for the D850. I don't know how much of an update it was. I don't know what it fixed or added, but Ryan or Roy, you can expound on that. Joe Stroud, how you doing? Good to see you. Tim McKinn, long-time watcher, first time in the chat. Well, thanks for joining the chat, Tim. So you can bring some knowledge and wisdom into the program here as well. A lot of smart people out there in the chat. Which Z6 is the latest firmware for? Well, it's a rumor that the Z6 and Z7, not the two Mark II version of those cameras, but the Z6 original, Z7 will have a firmware update here soon. Mr. John Ishii, Kong Hei Fat Choi guys. You're going to have to give us the interpretation for that. Let's see. We got bad news from Mr. Jeff. Remember, I suggested you look up my friend, fellow photographer Bob Bessemer. When you get to Nashville, well, he passed away this week. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jeff. Man, it seems we're at a point right now where a lot of people are passing away. I really hate to hear that, though, especially if he was a beloved photographer. My wife came in bugging me when I was in the studio setting some things up, and so I snapped a picture real quick. Why am I out of focus? Everybody else seeing that? I don't know what's going on. It looks like it's out of focus in the replay or in the Can't be having that. Come on. What's going on? What is going on? Hang on a second, folks. Let me see here. I don't like that. Is the focus bad on your end? Okay. It was just me. It was a setting. Eric, good evening. How you doing in Philly tonight? Happy New Year, bro. You're the rabbit. Yeah, you know what? My wife was telling me that earlier today. I don't understand all these Chinese years attributed to animals. Maybe you can fill us in. Matthew Card, good to see you. Anita Stewart, hi. How you doing, Anita? Oh, here we go. Jonathan. In honor of Chuck, I've decided to make brownies today. Good on you, man. I like brownies too. I haven't made them for a while. You know what? I'm going to have to. I have some in the cabinet. I just need to make them. And Hassan says, everyone eat grits. Had some Yankee grits last night. My wife wanted some cream of wheat. That's Yankee grits, I think, which I'd rather have than regular grits. I'm going to mess this up. Mark, let's see. Marcus Alon, I'm going to mess it up, man. Sorry about that. How you doing, sir? Quite a few new names in here, at least new to me. And if maybe you've been in before and I just didn't remember, but glad to see all the new people in here. So let's kick this chat off. What do you guys want to chat about tonight? Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, it was on my end. It was just the monitor that I was looking at. Robert Daniels going to watch Scrams tonight. You know, I'm not going to watch it. I've got it up on another monitor over here, Robert, where I can watch at least the timing and see what's going on. But I refuse to pay just to watch. You know, they could put it on TV or regular TV, cable or whatever, but they just refuse to, and I refuse to pay for it. Okay, clear. Good. Yeah, I think I found it on my end. Roy says 10,000 rabbits will probably be sacrificed in China next month. I have no idea. And Matthew says very minor update for the D850, but better than nothing. I agree with that. Even if it's fixing some of the bugs that usually when they do these bug fixes, I haven't even experienced them, but I'm glad that they're at least looking out for us for all the cameras. SOS for breakfast. Hadn't had it since I was in the Army. John. Good old SOS. Yep. Marcus Allen. Okay. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that for helping me out. And Sanjit. How you doing, Sanjit? Sanjit's abroad, working on his documentation of the hornbills, and he said he may join us here a little bit tonight if he gets a chance, and he has connectivity. It looks like he may have connectivity, so we might hear from Sanjit. Let's see. Kevin Nordstrom. Long-time listener. One day I'll make it on the show. Great community you have going, Chuck. Thank you very much, Kevin. Well, we're trying to keep it a great community, and you guys are the reason it's a great community. It's just somebody labeled the show the photography bar. You know, everybody just goes, sits down, pulls up their favorite beverage, snack, or whatever it is, and a lot of people just listen in, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. I like the fact that people just want to listen in. And well, the other thing is you can go about your business and just listen to it in the background. That's what's nice. Yeah, Roy. I've been stuck at this point for a couple of months now. I don't know what it is, but I think YouTube just doesn't want me to gain any more subscribers. Or I often tell my wife, I'll say, I have no idea what I said last night, but I lost 2 subscribers. So you guys, for those who want to unsubscribe, I have no heartburn with that. I mean, the whole point is everybody should be happy or I get it. But I wish I knew why people would unsubscribe, especially if it's something that I've done. I don't lose any sleep over it. Don't get me wrong, but I do wonder sometimes. Hassan says, let's start with the 8 possible lenses coming for 2023 in 2023. We already know 2 of them, the 85 1.2, the 35 1.2. We can probably guess a third one, and that would be and we also, not the 35 1.2, the 26 2.8 pancake lens, but we expect the 35 1.2 as well. We also expect the 2 to 600. Now, I saw something, I don't know who posted it, saying that the aperture would be 6.3. I don't know if it's going to be like 4.5 to 6.3 or if it's going to be 6.3 across the board. This is something that's near and dear to Roy's heart. He was hoping it would be a constant aperture, but I'm sure not at 6.3. We'll have to wait and see. It's not going to be a S lens, so we'll have to wait and see what it is. And the 135 1.8, the rumored 135 1.8, man, that sounds pretty sweet. I want the 85 1.2. I've been waiting for it. That's the lens that I've been waiting for. But I got a question for everybody. Is the 135 1.8 going to be anything like, and I know it sounds crazy, but considering Z lenses and how Nikon's really pulled out all the stops on these new Z lenses, could it rival, not in focal length, but in resolution rendition, could it rival the 200 f2? I mean, it's just a question. I don't know. But I'm sure it's going to be a barn buster, and it's going to be another lens that I'm going to have. But I definitely want to wait on the 85 1.2 first. I don't know what the others are going to be. I really don't. Sanjit Paul. Mr. Sanjit says, it's cold. Is that because it's raining and it's cool there at night right now? Greg wants to know if anybody's tried the linear focus lens firmware updates. I have not myself, Greg. I did, let's see, day before yesterday, I decided to try to play with the power zoom, and I haven't figured it out just yet. And I know it's only certain lenses that do it. So I've got to look and find out which lenses are can use the power zoom, because I was thinking about that when I was doing some videography for my stepson a few days ago or a week ago. He'll be back again next week to do some more video, and I hope to have it figured out so we can use it when we're doing some video work. Greg, you're never late, man. You can't be late here. You know that. Let's see. Roy Bigsby talking about the 85 1.2 and the 26 pancake lens. Yeah, those 3. I think we're definitely going to see those. I think we'll see the 35 1.2. We could see maybe the 135 1.8. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though. I'm really looking forward to seeing that lens. Hey, Gary. First time, long time. All right, Gary. Well, welcome, buddy. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to the community. I love it when you guys get in the chat. And again, though, I know it's sometimes easy to just sit back and listen. And maybe a lot of people don't have anything to say, but I love it when you guys get in the chat. I love it when the sidebars are going on in the chat. That really thrills me that you guys have separate conversations going on over there in the chat, because that is what a community does. And also answering questions for each other over there. It's fantastic. This is what I wanted from this channel, guys. This is exactly what I wanted, where everybody could come, everybody could be heard. And guess what? We don't just sit up here and run our mouth and ignore the chat. That's what it's about, is bringing you guys into the show via your chat. Or I do have, so let me put that up there. I do have the phone line open. And so you guys know that haven't been here before, I have a phone line set up where We can hear you. We can talk back and forth. When I have a panel, the panel can't necessarily, you can't hear the panel, but you'll be able to hear me and beating my gums. But you're welcome to call in rather than type and just talk about, ask your question or make your comment, whatever your opinion is on anything we're talking about. You're more than welcome to do that. I just ask that one, you turn down the sound on the feed on your computer or whatever, wherever you're watching from, so we don't get that echo. And the other is keep it to no more than about 5 minutes, if you would. If you ask a question, just ask and then hang up, and we'll try to get an answer for you. Let's see. Yeah, the 135 again, Roy. I agree. I kind of, I never had the 105. I'm talking the 105 1.4 Nikon or Sigma. I saw some fantastic photos with those lenses, but it was just a little bit too long for my studio, and I didn't think that I would use it outdoors that much. But the 135 does intrigue me. That I might be interested in. Not for indoors, of course. Daryl's talking about considering getting the 1-400 with the 1.4 TC to tide him over until the mythical 2-600 arrives. You can't go wrong with that 1-400. I'll tell you that, Daryl. It's a fantastic lens. It really is. And with the 1.4 TC, I think it works fantastic as well. I have that lens, and I have the 2.0 TC. And it takes a little work with the 2X TC because it goes to f11 at the long end. So you get an 800 millimeter focal length with the two times TC. But at f11, man, it really cuts the light, and it does degrade your ability to focus quickly. Luke, I wish I could subscribe more than once because I would. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know what it is. We're gonna break. We're gonna have a breakthrough here before long. We're gonna make this work. I am determined to be consistent so that more and more people can find us and join in and share all their knowledge as well. But thank you very much. Oh yeah. So Jose says, warning to Canon to stop refusing to let third-party lenses build for their cameras. Not everyone can afford their lenses, as per Jared Poland. And we've had a couple of people in here talk about there are affordable lenses in the Canon lineup. And I don't know. I don't own Canon. I don't shoot Canon. I have nothing, bad to say about Canon, except for I think it is a mistake on their part too. I really do. And I'm glad to see Nikon opened it up so that a third party could start building lenses. It'll be interesting to see what Sigma brings to the table. And we're supposed to see Sigma lenses this year too, possibly in Z mount. I agree, Greg. I think YouTube takes subscribers to make you work harder. Yeah, they do. That's why I had to go out and buy some different lights in my AP Studios sign in the back there, thinking maybe YouTube would cut me a break. But so far they haven't. Puerto Rico. I've been down there myself a few times, or a couple of times. I've been down to, what's the island out there? Well, I've been up into the Yonki rainforest, and then Vieques Island. Yeah, I've been out on Vieques Island there, and on the mainland, of course. Beautiful, beautiful, man. I didn't see that. I don't watch Jared anymore. I don't hate Jared or anything like that. I just don't watch him anymore. And you guys keep me informed about what he's talking about over there. If it's anything that I'm really interested in, of course, I'll go check it out, but I don't follow him anymore. Let's see. Curious about the price of the 135 1.8. That is a good question. It's going to be an S lens too, I think, isn't it? I think that's what was depicted. It won't be cheap. You can bet on that. It won't be cheap. My question is what's the 85 1.2 going to cost? Considering the 51.2, but it looks like they cut a corner and took the little LCD screen off the lens. Maybe that cuts us a few dollars. And I kind of like that being there, but I can't say I use it on my 24 to 70 or my 1 to 400. But I kind of like it being there. I don't know. It's just a nice touch. I don't know how you guys feel about it. So his video on third-party lenses for Canon was interesting. Okay. Well, I might have to check it out, Matthew. Thanks, man. Let's see. Under 80 degrees Fahrenheit there today, Roy says. Wow. Yeah, well, we didn't break half of that here today in beautiful Connecticut. Daryl says he's using the 80 to 400 and 2 to 500 F mount still, getting ready to sell them both and go toward the 1 to 400. I still have my 80 to 400, Daryl, and I need to let it go. I need to let a bunch of lenses and things go. I just hate going through that process of trying to sell. It's such a hassle. Man, it's almost worth it just to take a beating on trading it in for other lenses or cameras or whatever. At least that's the way I feel. I just don't want to go through the hassle of selling. It's such a hassle. Hassan, someone asked Frames TM why was he bashing Lumix in his video. Thought we were all about brands. Yeah, man. I don't have a problem with any of the brands. I really don't. I guess I could say this about Nikon as well. I don't have a problem with any of the brands. I shoot Nikon. I am a Nikon shooter. I am loyal to Nikon in that I like what they do and everything else, or as far as their equipment goes. But I am not a Nikon fanboy because they frustrate me to no end with their terrible marketing and their scheduling of what to drop next makes no sense to me. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what was going on there, Hassan. Let's see. Yeah, like I said earlier in a comment in the chat, anybody that wants to be on this channel, and this goes back to talking about what the channel's all about. I'm not safeguarding the live panelists. I don't have favorites that I limit who can come on here as a live panelist. Anybody that would like to come on live, I welcome you. Again, this goes back to being the community and giving everybody a chance to jump in and speak and tell their tale or whatever it is. So if anybody out there would like to, all you have to do is email me and I will definitely send you the link and bring you in. The only thing is, as always, no cussing while we're live. No cussing, no profanity, well, you know the deal. And you know what? YouTube just dropped a bomb on the community now for monetization. So they have really limited what you can say and show on YouTube right now. And a lot of creators are really upset about it because you're going to have to sign this new monetization deal that they have going. And it's probably going to cause a lot of people to lose a lot of their monetization for a lot of videos they have out there. But that's not my reason. It just plays into my hand. I just don't want it because I want to make this a community for everybody. And if your sons, daughters, children happen by while you're listening to the stream, I don't want them to have to hear all that. All right. Oh, well, everybody welcome Mr. Jitpix.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are around the world. It is cold. I am in a cloud.
Wow.
Yeah, we out here. We're just across the state border, and everything is so misty. We're trying to photograph some wildlife, and as you can see in my background, it's we were like, what you call it back home? We were pretty much snowed in. It was just
Wow.
mist everywhere. And since this morning, it was, oh my goodness, everyone is freezing cold. It's a little bit miserable out here. Everything's wet, man.
So tell everybody where you're at and what you're doing, Sanjit.
There were a couple of accounts of hornbills at the Fraser's Hill, which is pretty much 2.5 hour drive away from the Kuala Lumpur city. We came here to check out if we can locate where the hornbills are. I'm going to set you down on this table. The background looks cool.
Yeah, that's
And
fine. That's great.
and we cannot really find those hornbills because everything here is white everywhere you look.
Okay, when I said tell everybody where you're at, you're not in California.
It certainly feels like Alaska. Greenland somewhere.
So where are you?
I'm up on Fraser's Hill.
Where is Fraser's Hill?
It's at the state line in between Selangor, where the capital of Malaysia is, and Pahang, which is the next state, which is the largest state in the peninsula. Pahang has got tremendous amount of wildlife. We also have a national park out here. That is another 2-hour drive down south towards the east or west. I do not know. It's so cold. Everything up here is frozen.
We wouldn't know the difference anyway.
And yeah, I mean, not much luck. So we've been just sitting around the bungalow, having a lot of tea, having great chats. And yeah, we were not prepared. So, you know, it's like t-shirt and jeans. It ain't going to work out here. But we need to leave in about half an hour, start heading down the hill. And perhaps some opportunistic wildlife along the way.
So what's the elevation where you're at? Any idea?
We're close to 1,300 meters above sea level.
Okay.
Yeah. The peak is not too far away. That should be another less than 100 meters above sea level.
Okay. So hornbills, for those that aren't birders.
Hornbills, yeah. My main mission, my main target is one of the most prehistoric Asian hornbills, and it's the helmeted hornbill. They make this call that is super eerie. So if you're walking through the forest during the day and you hear something laughing at you, and you know, in Malaysia we have a lot of superstitions, and one of it is called something like the white lady up in the trees. And no, it's not the white lady up in the trees. You don't want to hear that, especially at night. And this hornbill is one of the largest hornbills that we have here in Asia. It's about 173, between 153 to 175 centimeters from tip to tip, which is about 5.5 feet.
Okay.
But it's also one of the most elusive hornbills because they're being hunted for their casque. And in Asia, it's called the red ivory trade.
Oh.
So
what I know that you and your wife are on a mission to document them and to as a conservancy project there, correct?
Correct. That is right. And up in the north, we have engaged with the indigenous teams. We've tried to, you know, get them into the forest at least 10 days in a month. Not only they go out and they look for hornbill nests, and they come back and report any signs of poaching. And then another team goes in together with the Malaysian government. Sometimes we rope in the Malaysian army, and we go and bust those poachers.
You're doing great work, man.
We try. Where's
your beautiful wife?
She's around somewhere. She doesn't want to go out. It's too cold. She's not out that window. You know, but yeah, just to give you...
We had John and Diana Ishii on the show last week. We need to get you and your wife back on one Saturday night.
I tried to log in, but I was way up north, and we're heading into the forest, and there's no reception. But hopefully, I can the next time. And well, happy Lunar New Year to John and Diana if you're listening in.
I think John's in. John's in the chat.
John, check out my landscape. It's so cool and cold.
You didn't pack a jacket, did you?
There is one. We knew it's going to be cold, but we didn't know it's going to be raining ever since we got here. It's been more than we got here yesterday. It's supposed to be a short trip, hence we're checking out of this bungalow today. It's supposed to be a short trip. We didn't know we're just going to be washed indoors most of the time. And yeah, I found her.
All right. She's the smart one in the family. She's in there where it's warm.
She is. And we've got a guest from Phoenix.
From Phoenix. Wow.
From Phoenix, Arizona.
Somebody from Arizona there.
Yeah, and hold on. I'm going to try to disconnect this thingy. Yeah, so are you still there, Chuck? Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you fine.
All right. So I'm going to introduce you to Marissa. She is the senior keeper of birds in Phoenix, Arizona, from the Phoenix Zoo.
Okay.
Yeah. So almost anything and everything American birds. This is Marissa.
We're all of our wildlife, our bird shooters in the chat. Here you go. Well, Marissa, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Halfway around the world. Wow.
I am. Yeah, I'm here till the end of the month. So, and I've worked with Sanjay for a few years now, but because of pandemic, I haven't been able to come back till this year.
And you're at the Phoenix Zoo in Arizona?
I am. Yeah, in Arizona, I'm a senior keeper, and I have worked with birds for close to 20 years. That's been my research background since undergraduate. And I found this project through the Phoenix Zoo, and with their support, I'm able to be here because they're sponsoring my trip today or this month.
Wow, that's fantastic. So anybody that's out in Arizona or close, drop by the Phoenix Zoo and introduce yourself to Marissa. She'll give you the grand
absolutely.
tour.
And this project also has a display sign that explains a little bit about how the Phoenix Zoo has helped in the recovery of hornbills. And you can see rhinoceros hornbills and ringled hornbills in person at the Phoenix Zoo.
Okay, great. Well, it's great to meet you. And wow, imagine that. I'm in Connecticut and you're from Phoenix, all the way over in Malaysia.
Yeah, quite the hop.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, thank you very much for introducing yourself. And
absolutely.
I get out that way, I'll have to stop in and say, hey, I remember meeting you in a live stream.
Yes, please do. I'd be more than welcome. I can give you a grand tour of all the birds.
There you go, everybody. It's part of our community. We're going to include Marissa now.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pass you back.
All right. Thank you.
So if anyone is interested just to go out birding, general birding around US, Phoenix, check out, look out for Marissa. Bring your binoculars. She really enjoys it. She loves it. She can't leave her binoculars down while she's down in Malaysia here. All in good fun, really.
Well, when you told me that you were going to try to join us for a minute or two, if you had connectivity, you've been very fortunate. It's been fantastic. I love when you just have the opportunity to drop in wherever you are. That's great.
I hope to show you more of Malaysia from where I am, and what better way to do it, Chuck? Let's do it live.
Absolutely, man. That's the great thing about live. When you joined us from the show, I can't remember where you were, but the photo expo, I thought that was fantastic.
We were Bangkok.
Yeah, there you go. World traveler, the rock and roll photographer.
I'm going to wish you all good night. Happy Chinese New Year. We're going to run. I need to pack up and get some sun.
All right. All right, buddy. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for sharing what you're doing with us, and look forward to seeing you and your lovely wife on the show one of these Sunday mornings for you, Saturday night for us.
We will. We hope so. Have a good one, everyone.
All
Cheers.
right. Thanks. Thanks, Sanjit. Take care.
You too.
Well, there you go. That's how easy it is to be on the panel live. He's doing it with his phone from Malaysia on a mountaintop. Imagine that. But anybody else is welcome to join us as well. Gary, just grabbing your comment here. First company that facilitates trading equipment without being overly greedy will be wildly successful. You're absolutely right. I do understand that they have to make a penny or two on the stuff, but sometimes it just seems to be ridiculously low. You get lowballed ridiculously, but it is the safer route, and it's the easiest route though to take if you're trying to get or liquidate equipment, especially if you're just buying something else. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to get back down. I got sidetracked there, trying to get back down to our comments where they're relevant for the moment. Let's see. So Roy telling Daryl, the Z mount is not as durable as the D5 or D850. I'm seeing that more and more, Roy, since you had your episode with your Z9, and there have been a few other people that have had that as well, the mount breaking. And somebody had made fun of the mount early on when the Z9 came out, talking about how many screws were in the mount. I don't know if that really makes a difference or not, but they were talking about it early on when we first laid our hands on the Z9. But it seems like there have been a few issues with it. So I don't know if that's an engineering issue or what. And look, anybody that has a camera that tips over and it lands on a tripod, it lands on the lens or whatever at a certain angle, could expect whatever kind of mount you have for it to break. I'm not taking that away, but it seems like there have been a few more incidents. Kevin says it's only no swearing for the first 8 seconds of the video. However, it's YouTube. They will change tomorrow, whatever they want. I have a bad mouth, but I try to be family friendly on YouTube. Well, good for you, Kevin. Yeah, I had a terrible mouth. I grew up in the military, so yeah, it took a long time for me. My wife did a good job of beating it out of me, though. But yeah, I'm not so sure. That's the current, I think. The first, I don't know, it was something like 30 seconds, wasn't it, or something? The current rule. But somebody got demonetized, not the channel, but a bunch of videos. One video demonetized for showing a picture of somebody that had gotten hurt and had bumps and bruises. Who knows what YouTube's going to do next? But anyway, yeah. Let's see. Eric. Let's see what Eric has to say. How you doing, Eric? Stopped watching Poland a long time ago. He's mostly selling his presets. It gets old. Yeah, I think that's really the thing that I just got tired of Jared's shtick. It's I don't know. I understand a lot of people like it. His him being a comedian. But I just got tired of it myself, and that was it. I was ready to move on. And you're right. I don't like all the people that have all the presets and things. I'll tell you another pet peeve of mine. And, a lot of people may get mad at me that have YouTube channels. I hate the countdown. I really do. I hate that countdown clock. I just don't see any need for it. When you tune in, especially on the live streams, you tune in and they've got that countdown clock going. Why not just go live? I mean, don't go live until you're ready to go. Don't use that countdown clock for your last minute finishes of whatever you need to do. So just me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. So you don't have to worry about seeing it here. Yeah, Sanjit's living the life. He is, Robert. He is. So who's the guy Jit picks rock and roll? His name is Sanjit Singh, and he is a conservationist over in Asia. And right now, he and his wife both are working on conservation of the hornbill, toucan Sam bird. John Ishii. So, John, you know where Fraser Hill is. I'm sure you do. For those of you that don't know, John Ishii, retired photojournalist extraordinaire, and his wife is an accomplished photographer. They were on last Saturday night, and it was a great show. We really enjoyed it. And John is in Malaysia as well. John, if you'd like to jump in, just let me know. I'll send you the link. And that goes for anybody. Anybody that would like to jump in, I'll send you the link, and we'll take it from there. Let's see. John says he didn't know there were hornbills there. Eric, I like this forum because we talk about photography, not clickbait nonsense. Yeah, I've had a lot of people try to tell me how I should do my thumbnails, and I am going to get a little bit better here. I understand now how important it is to have a decent thumbnail, but using also titles, and I'm not doing any clickbaitish title. I just can't bring myself to do that. Is Nikon going to fail with the addition of the 2-6 or the lack of delivering the 2-600? Question mark. No, I'm not going to do that. The other thing is, just so you guys know, let me vent here a little bit. I mean, not a rant, but just a little bit of venting. I do 104 live streams a year. At least that's my plan. It's 2 a week. And a lot of people would ask me, well, what are you going to have for a topic? How do you come up with 104 topics? I mean, man, it's tough. So again, this is a photography forum, but you have the ability to express yourself through the chat. You can call in. I'll put the phone line up here again for anybody that might want to call in. Write it down if you want, just in case you want to call in later, by all means. And invite people into the panel. Have you on as a live guest, because this is for you. Yeah, I know it sounds corny, but it is, because, and let me go through this again. If you guys will bear with me that have heard this a few times, I got tired of going to videos and Jared Poland, the Northrops, Matt Irwin, you name it, any of them. And you drop a question and you can't get an answer to the question because they never they never look at all the comments. And I understand that if you get 1,000 comments, it's really tough to answer all of them. I get that. So anyway, not just that, but the fact that I love to talk about photography, whether it's gear, what Nikon's doing or whatever. Again, I'm a Nikon shooter, nothing against the other brands, and you're welcome to come on and talk about your brand if you like. But I didn't have anybody to talk to throughout the week. I talked to my wife 2 minutes after I began talking about photography. She goes, yeah, I got it. Yeah. Okay, enough. And I wanted a place where I could go. And I saw so many live streams where the stream was going and they'd have 2 or 3 or 4 people in the panel and they're just chatting away, having a great time, and nothing wrong with that, but they're ignoring the chat. And there are a lot of people that are asking questions and wanting answers to their questions or wanting to make comments. And I thought, how do we rectify that? How do we fix that? And I just decided I'm going to start a YouTube channel, or I had one already, but I'm going to make it better by talking to people in the chat and letting people in the chat talk to me and everyone else. And if you don't have any place to go talk photography, if you're like me, then this is the stop right here. Just drop into the live streams that I do. I do one at Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time, and on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I do 2 because I want to catch 2 different time zones. Not everybody can make it if you just choose one particular time. So anyway, I'm going to stick with it. I may not always have a topic. However, there's something hot going on in the photography world, you can bet I'll drop that in the thumbnail so everybody knows that's going to be the start of the conversation. Rarely do we carry the conversation throughout the stream on the topic that was chosen. You guys make the difference, and you start telling me basically through your comments, hey, here's what I want to talk about. And that's great. That's what we want to do. All right. Seraphin, you taking off? All right, buddy. Good night. Watch the rest tomorrow. All right. Have a great night. Appreciate you dropping by. Charles Davis, good to see you in here. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. And it's about that time for me to make that statement. My wife was always on me about don't make sure that you ask for likes and subscriptions. And I was negligent in doing that. So she bought me this shirt for Christmas. So here we go. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Sorry, the audio was terrible for that, I know. But yes, the likes keep me motivated. And honestly, as far as subscriptions go, I just want to get above 1,000. Then the algorithm picks up and starts pushing my content more. So we get more and more people to join this community. All right, enough of the public service announcements. Let's move on. John Ishii saying, Happy New Year. So I'm way behind. Happy New Year to Sanjit. I'm way behind here. Let me continue to move forward. Sorry, guys, I'm way behind, but nothing unusual about that. I had a question for anybody. Let me see if anybody can answer Eric's question here. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll read it. Had a question for anybody that can answer. The new Sony a7R5 is bad in low light, can't shoot high ISO. Over 6400 ISO, it gets noisy. However, the Nikon Z7 seems pretty good at higher ISO. Why? Man, I can't answer that either, other than the A7R5 does have more pixel density, and maybe that's enough to make a difference, but has anybody answered that in the chat already? I'll give everybody a chance to weigh in on that for Eric. And Mark Lynch is asking, sorry, I should have got that earlier. Mark, I'm sorry I get behind on the chat here. I'll find out. I can ask Sanjit. I'll talk to him here before long, and maybe before Marissa gets out of there, we'll find out. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's a great thing about this show is people call in from all over the world, and it's typically Saturday night. I get all the Asian countries that show up because it's Sunday morning, and for my buddy, Mr. Roy Bigsby, it's Sunday late morning, afternoon, I think. So, let's see. You guys had been here for that conversation. John, being a photojournalist, was explaining it and explaining some of the photos he took of a tsunami. And he was talking about how he frames and, puts everything in context and to tell the story as a photojournalist. And then he says, and then you go look for a dead guy. I guess you're doing your job. That's just the way it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, Greg, I saw your comment earlier. The AP Studio sign. Thank you very much. I found it on Amazon, not AP Studios, of course. That would be unique, wouldn't it? You can go on Amazon and search for custom neon signs. And there are, I don't know how many different people out there that are making them. But I'll tell you, for this one, this is actually 30 inches wide. And it's probably about 10 inches tall. So you get a size perspective. And it cost me I wouldn't say it's expensive. $147, I think, is what I paid for it. So it wasn't that bad. The on-air sign was $35, and those are pre-made, of course. but the AP Studios is custom made, and you'll get it in about 2 weeks, I think is about the amount of time it takes for them to make it, send it, and arrive. But I didn't think it was too bad. I kind of like it. And you can see my cityscape underneath the AP Studios, which is actually my lenses stacked up on. I have a Husky toolbox that I use to put all kinds of photo equipment in. That's what the lenses are sitting on back there. So yeah, about $147, I believe. Anybody that's interested, if you want, I can drop the link in the description. But you can just go search on Amazon. Sorry about the big whistle there. Search on Amazon, custom neon signs, and you'll find it. And you can custom build your sign however you want with colors and everything else. I hope that's enough of an answer for you there, but thank you very much. Appreciate it, Greg. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up here. So, John, I guess you've been up there on the hill many times. It was a British holiday area back in the colonial days, is what John's saying. Okay, that would be the hill they were on. Let's see. Black swans, yeah. Roy says he's been looking for black swans. They seem to have all migrated to Grays in London. Yeah, I watched the photo walk they did, or Grays walk they did Friday morning, and Becky was determined to get a photo of the black swan. Or did she call it a black swan or a black pelican? I can't remember. I can't remember what she was talking about, but yeah. Let's see, Eric. Hey, well, by all means, tell them thank them for their service. Appreciate it, Eric. So is that what it's supposed to be for, Joe? Well, I would assume, I don't know. I guess I can't argue with that if that's that's the idea behind it. I'd rather just go live and be piddling around in the studio and give people time to come in, which I have done before. I just wasn't completely ready and went live and then had to go do a couple of things real quick before I actually sat down. Roy Bigsby, Chuck's Therapy Channel. I don't know how much therapy it is, but I hope so. I hope everybody enjoys it. Pass the word. Let's build our community. More and more people in here. And by the way, I don't know how many questions have been answered over in the chat. Questions that I couldn't answer, and you guys can. That's how much experience you all have over in the chat. So if you have a question about anything, and it doesn't matter whether it's Nikon, Canon, old lenses, man. If you want, if it's something to do with especially Nikon lenses, ping Roy Bigsby, because not only can he probably answer it, he has one that he can show you. When he's on here, he does that quite often. People bring something up, and Roy reaches behind him, and lo and behold, he's got a D3X or a D4 or a D1 or whatever. It's amazing. Roy is a Nikon historian who has a museum himself that probably rivals the one in Nikon Japan headquarters. Let's see. If Nikon releases the Z8, then poor Chuck won't be able to rant about it. Au contraire, Roy. If it's not what I think it's going to be and what I want, I'll be fair. I will say it's what I want. If it's not that, then I am going to rant a little bit because I have some concerns. If the Z8 is a 61 megapixel sensor, what are we going to do with the Z7? I have no idea what the Z7 becomes. It just seems to me that needs to be the high megapixel camera. But we'll wait and see. We're going to find out here before too long, I'm sure. Marcus, Awesome shirt. I just remembered to like, been a subscriber for a while. Thank you very much, Marcus. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's what my wife told me. I said, I hate to beg for anything. Why do you want me to beg? She said, it's not begging. You're reminding people. And I guess that's true. Thanks a lot. And the likes do motivate me. It really does. It keeps me motivated to know that, okay, I got another stream coming up Wednesday. So let's make sure that we're prepared for that. By the way, if for some reason you don't see a thumbnail come up for a live stream, and I mean, usually I'm late rather than no thumbnail at all, but I am busy here at the house. For those, again, that are new and don't know, I'm trying to get the house in order to get rid of it. We're going to sell, and we're leaving Connecticut and going to Tennessee, down in the Nashville area. So anyway, I have my daily routine of things that I have to get done, like everybody else. Life comes first, and my wife is very supportive of me doing this, and that's great. But I forget to get the thumbnail out for the next live stream sometimes, and I'm really late in doing that. So what I'm getting to is, don't worry if there's no thumbnail. You need to check, because more than likely I just didn't get the thumbnail up, but I am trying my best to stay consistent. And I have for, the last 8 months, I think. Haven't missed I take that back. I did miss a live stream back in September because I was at a Army reunion. But anyway, check, because I'm more than likely going live even if I don't get the thumbnail up. All right, enough excuses. Let's see. I'm looking down the list, guys. Give me a minute. This is where having folks in here on the panel really helps out, because they carry the conversation. And I constantly scan the chat, looking for comments to pull up on the screen. And I try to pull up most of the comments, and I'll read them, just so you know, because there are a lot of people that just listen. They're doing things in the background and they're just listening. So I'll read the comments so they can hear the comment as well. Let's see. And Mark Lynch says, thanks for asking. Phoenix has some great museums and venues. I'll have to let my wife know that. She loves going anywhere where there's good museums. Of course, she's from New York City, so, museums are big. 1400 Sunday in Australia. All right. Roy says a green screen is cheaper than a nice background. I agree, Roy. Or to have your view from where you sit in your house there, that's a beautiful background that's free. You're welcome, Greg, on the sign. I can see I'm still way behind. Lee Rothman, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Let me throw Lee's comment up here. The Sony A7R5's in-camera noise is best held back from ISO 3200 and below. Using Topaz Photo AI removes it right up to 12.8 easily. There you go. All right. And you know what? I wish I had Z Wade in here. Z Wade's playing with the A7R5. He could probably answer that question. Where are you at tonight, Zach? Let me check here and see if anybody, let's see. Nope. All right. Yeah, I wish Zach was in here tonight. Oh, Lee, I didn't know you were playing with the A7R5 right now. Okay. So I've been using the A7R5 over the last few weeks. It has astounding detail. It looked like it when Zach was actually playing with the camera. I keep it at or below 3200 ISO. I'm concerned about minimal post processing. Okay. Well, that begs the question. Nikon would have designed the sensor even if they go with the 61 megapixel. So my question is anybody concerned about noise the higher we go in megapixel? There's a big debate going on out there. Some say technologies help to defeat some of it. Others say no. There are people that actually, in the Nikon camp, there are a few people that are talking about they want a 12 megapixel camera from Nikon. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? David Stewart, I have a pigeons expert for my next bird shoot. She is always correcting me by saying that is not a pigeon. It is a blank. That's great, David. Yeah, I'm not. I couldn't tell you every bird that comes along either. Let's see. All right, let me get down here to the bottom, and I've got somebody that's calling me. I'm going to have to answer. I'm sorry about that. It could be an emergency. I'm going to check it out here in a minute. But Greg Corker says he's not sure why the A7R5 is worse, except that it has a lot more megapixels. Yeah, high ISO performance seems to go down as megapixels go up. Yeah, we just talked about that. So, all right. Yeah, Greg, that's okay, man. 2 or 3 answers is always better than no answers. Another note, I feel compelled to comment again on how much better NX Studio displays the high ISO Z7 files as compared to Lightroom. You know, you bring up a very good point. On the night for those in the Nikon camp, yes, NX definitely. The more fidelity, the colors are richer. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to use NX Studio. The only problem with it is it's slow, and that's the only complaint I have about it. But you are correct. For those of you that haven't tried that, if you're in the Nikon camp, open your photos up in NX Studio and look side by side with what you would open in Lightroom and Photoshop. It's amazing, the difference. It really is. I didn't believe it till I tried it myself. Thanks for that, Greg. You're right. So Matthew says there may not be a Z7 III. We just assume there will be. Yeah, we do assume. I mean, why would they get rid of that camera body? If they get rid of the Z7 III, then that leaves us with 3 full frame bodies, right? A Z6 III, a Z8, and the Z9. Oh, I forget. We have the Z5 as well. Okay, I got to count that as well. And then if Nikon decides to pull the trigger on an APS-C Pro body this year, of course, you know, it wouldn't be a full frame camera, but it would fall into the Pro segment. So I don't know. You know, again, I just logically thinking, and maybe it's a good thing I don't run Nikon for some cases, but I thought the Z6 III being the hybrid, video stills camera for all those wanting to, jump into Nikon with a lower priced camera. I thought that would be a great fix, maybe 33 megapixel. The Z7 III being the super high megapixel camera that would be for landscape, studio work, portraiture, even product photography and everything that high megapixel is great for, just not being a speed demon camera. I thought that would be perfect. And then let the Z8 be the all-arounder, the baby Z9. I know I've said that 1,000 times and people just cringe when I say it. Some people do. But, give us that performance in another full frame body, just not a full grip body. And so many people held out, didn't buy the Z9 for that reason. And for the reason that they just don't have the funds to purchase, the Z9 at $5,500. It really winds up being about $6,000. So anyway, that was my thought. And we're going to find out here soon enough. I know a lot of people disagree with me. And just like everything else, I'll say I'm wrong when I'm wrong. When we find out, if that's the case, I'll let everybody know I was wrong. I just feel, though, in my gut, that's where Nikon's going. We shall see. Let's see. I'm trying to get down here to the bottom because I have to go make a phone call now. They've called 3 times, and I got to make sure everything's okay. And Roy's talking about without any new tech, more megapixels reduces dynamic range and increases digital noise. Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to find out here soon. And, is there some new secret sauce that Nikon's found? And, for high megapixel or higher megapixel cameras, I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting. Chosen by Design. How are you, sir? Let's see. I'm trying to get to the bottom. Lee's talking to Roy about dynamic range and I guess noise abatement with higher megapixel cameras, the A7R4, A7R5. In dynamic range, that's just a great argument. I can't tell you the difference looking at a camera taking photos between 14 stops or 12 stops of dynamic range. I know I'm crazy, but I think it's a great marketing tool though. Sith got the 404.5, Nikon 404.5 for the big surf competition, the Eddy. Okay. But it's expecting 40,000 people to flock over to Oahu North Shore. So that messed up the plan to test out the. Oh man, sorry about that, buddy. Eric says he still has a great manual focus 50 millimeter 1.2 1978 lens, and I'm sure Roy's already commented on that. I'll look down here below. Okay, I don't know anything about it, but I thought if he was in here, he could at least speak firsthand. But now that you're in here, Lee, you can, because you've been playing with it. So I appreciate the commentary that you're providing on the A7R5. Let's see. Looking, folks, trying to push to the bottom so I can make this phone call. I am sorry about that. I have to make the phone call though. Yeah, Matthew, you're right. D700 is not going to happen now. Nikon's already said a year ago they weren't the 24 megapixel sensor is on its way out in Nikon's lineup. They made that statement a year ago. So we shall see what we're going to get here in the future. And I'm happy with 45 megapixel too. I don't know what the rush is to go beyond that. I know people want it and maybe they have a great reason for wanting it, but it's going to be interesting to see what Nikon comes up with next. Let's see. Lee's happy with a measly 20 megapixel on his OM1. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I understand that, Lee. Yeah, because Nikon understands, the secret sauce in the camera, and of course they're going to be able to. They'll be able to open the photos and render them closer to what they should be. Yeah, and Roy says Adobe will catch up. Hey, how you doing, James or Jim? Mr. J Rod Photo Art, folks. Enjoying your film photos, buddy. Let's see. Will we really see all the lenses come out this year? I don't know. I hope so. Nikon's got some catching up to do. And I know for all the Nikon fanboys, they get mad if I say anything negative about Nikon. But I mean, let's face it, Nikon's got some catching up to do on camera and lenses. All right. Yeah, they put out some fantastic, wonderful super telephoto lenses that, are the envy of a lot of different people shooting different brands. But, most people can't get a second mortgage on their home just to go out and buy one of those lenses. So anyway, they do owe us a few lenses and a few camera bodies, because right now we're a one body lineup in Nikon. Watch this. This will get everybody stirred up that's in the Nikon camp. We have a one body lineup. It's called the Z9. We don't have anything else. I know. Here we go. Bring on the hate. Maybe this is why people unsubscribe. Maybe that's what it is, because I won't cut Nikon slack right now. The cameras that we have, the Z6 series and Z7 series, while they are good cameras, no doubt about it, it doesn't have the new tech. And guess what? Other brands are putting this new AF tech and other things in the lower tier cameras, and Nikon's not there. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about when I bring this up. Nikon is a one camera lineup, Z9, but maybe, just maybe, we're going to fix that this year. We're expecting it. All right. Sorry about that. Double tap that. I'm trying to get to the bottom, catch everything here. People want the ZD850. Let's see, and a ZD500. So yeah, I don't know what the Z850 is. You know, that it's not going to be. You know, I think because we assume 8 is the next number they're going to use in the lineup, everybody equates that. Well, 8 means it's a D850. No, it doesn't. Why does it have to mean it's a D850? So anyway, I'm not picking on you, Matthew. I'm just saying this is what everybody thinks, though. Well, it's an 8. It's got to be a D850. No, it doesn't. Make the Z7 III the D850 equivalent. And oh, by the way, those that keep saying that the D850 was good at everything, you know, it was fine for birding and fine for events and motorsports. No, it wasn't. I had a D850. I shot motocross with the D850, and it didn't hold a candle to the D5 that I was using. And I know we don't expect it to be D5 like, but that's what they expect the new mirrorless D850 to be, the Z8 to be the D850 equivalent that does it all at 1,000 megapixel and shoots 130 frames per second. No. All right, so I got my little rant in there, and I'll back off and let everybody else add to it. A Z8 with an EL18 battery grip like the D850 could replace the Z7 II. Yes. I think that, again, I think that's where Nikon needs to go. Make the Z7 III the D850 equivalent and move on. Don't get rid of the Z7. But, you know, wait till we hear some rumors about that, you know, if that's going to happen. So Lee's making a point here saying higher megapixel does not lower dynamic range. Try a Fuji 102 megapixel or the 100S. And there's an argument there as to how the pixel pitch. And I'm not going to get in the middle of that. You guys can have at it over there in the chat. And Jim, I agree, and I know you agree as well. You know, need to fill the gap with camera body options. I agree. It's time. You know, last year, all year long, Nikon didn't give us one camera that was a newly developed camera, because I don't count the Z30 in that. It was a parts bin camera. Nothing wrong with the Z30. It's probably great even for somebody like me just to use it as a camera for the live streams. Although I use a Z6 right now and love it. I don't need a Z30. But Nikon didn't give us anything else last year. And then a lot of people were saying that, oh, Nikon's going to go big this year. How come we couldn't produce a camera last year? But this year, some people expect Nikon to drop 3 new cameras or 4. I don't see it happening, folks. I don't see it happening. I see some cameras coming, but I'm not giving them a pass for last year. Sorry. The Z8 supposedly was in development at the same time the Z9 was in development. And they decided to go. This is all rumor, conjecture from all these rumor sites and rumor mills. But the Z8 was supposed to have been in production, or not in production, in development. And they decided to go with the Z9 first. Maybe it was a good ploy on their part. But you would think that the Z8 would have been ready to roll at some point last year, towards the end of the year. And we're not too far from the end of the year. So anyway, we got CP Plus coming up. CP Plus comes up, starts on 26 February. I was wrong when I said 2 February, but if you go look at the CP Plus website, you'd probably be wrong looking at their their date on their website as well. But anyway, it's 26th February. I expect to hear something at the latest at CP Plus, and then something visual to see by WPPI. It could happen at Imaging USA. There could be some something announced at Imaging USA, which is happening right now, by the way, or it's getting ready to start right now down in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm really curious. We got 3 shows coming up, 3 expos coming up. You've got Imaging USA that's starting here. I think it may have started today. I can't remember. Maybe tomorrow. It runs for 3 days, and I wish I'd gone down to Nashville to go to that. I really do. And CP Plus coming up 26 February. And then rolling off of CP Plus, we've got WPPI out in Las Vegas. I know WPPI is different, but it may be the showcase for what's announced. You know, the prototype under a glass container or whatever type stuff. So anyway, I expect to hear something in those 3 shows. We should get some rumors, unless Nikon is really cracked down on their NDAs, which they could have. And we're not going to get a lot of rumors, but I expect to hear something between now and WPPI. I don't know how you guys feel, but I really do expect to hear something. All right, let me get back over here to the comments real quick. Eric, here you go. This is Vahagan's been talking about this, and you know, I'm on board with that. I'm on board with Nikon looking at a video-centric camera. I really am, because Nikon's video in the Z9 is so fantastic. And, you know, even people that are dedicated to other brands are saying that about the Z9 on the video side. So, yeah, I think Nikon needs to do that as well. I don't think they need to do it right now, though. Don't get me wrong. They've got to get these regular hybrid cameras out. You know, the Z6 III, the Z7 III, and the Z8. Those cameras have to come out first. And then possibly, maybe not all 3 of those before a Pro APS-C body, but at least 2. And this is just Chuck talking here. I think we need 2 of those bodies out. The Z8 and the Z6 III would be fantastic right up front, and a Pro APS-C body, because I know there are people that want it. But don't get caught up in the hype you hear on YouTube that everybody's waiting for a Pro APS-C body. No, everybody isn't. And there are more people waiting probably for the Z8 than any other camera out there right now. But anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see what's coming here in the next few months. But I agree with you, Eric. I'd like to see a dedicated video-centric camera, because I'm really beginning to play with video a lot more now. All right. Let's see. Chosen by design. I'm Googling all the good info from Roy and Lee learning. Great, man. That's great. And that's the great thing about the chat here, is it's full of a lot of people that are very passionate, and there's nothing wrong with being passionate, and very knowledgeable. Greg says, "Flee, Chuck, get your call." All right, guys, I hate to do it. I wish I had somebody else in here with me right now. Let me check to make sure nobody's waiting in the wings. Nope. I'll be right back. Let me go make this phone call. I'll make it as short as I can. It's one of my daughters that's calling, and she's called 3 times, and that's unusual. So let me go check just to make sure we don't have a catastrophe going on somewhere. But again, if you guys would like to, if anybody'd like to join the panel, by all means, just shoot me an email at Chuck. Let me drop it up here while I'm out. All right, I know I got it here. Here we go. No, I don't want the ticker. Well, that's all I've got available right now. All right. So shoot me an email at chuckomail@yahoo.com if you'd like to join the live panel tonight. And I'll get you the link. And it's really simple. It runs in your browser. You don't have to download anything. And if you've got a laptop with a camera built in and microphone built in, you can be on the show. All right. I will be right back. Let me go back here. I will be right back. I promise I won't be long. Thanks for hanging in there. I'll probably see a bunch of people drop. Hang in there. All the viewers, hang in there. I just got to go make a phone call. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. All right, folks, I am so sorry I had to go away and make a phone call. Yes, there's an emergency going on, but right now we're just going to carry on. I get another phone call. I may have to drop off. Sorry about that, but this is live and it's real life that goes on. So, anyway, all right, let's get back to where we were here. Let me change my glasses so I can actually see the comments. I see we lost a bunch of people that were in here. I hate to see people drop, but I understand. I just wish we had some folks in here to carry the conversation on. All right. Let's see. Thanks, Marcus. I appreciate that. We could use the prayers. JG, that's another name I don't recognize. Good to see you. Glad you joined us. Look, I encourage anybody that comes in that wants to be part of our community and wants to get in these photography chats to subscribe, get all the updates, and join us for as many live streams as you can. We have a good time while we're in here. I hope we get the 2 to 600. Yeah, everybody. I keep saying that, but so many people are waiting for the 2 to 600, and I really know that it's going to happen soon. Thank you, JG. I appreciate that. Let's see. And Greg, poor Greg's been waiting for the 800 for so long. He's definitely waiting for that lens. And here's a question that I don't have an answer to, but maybe somebody does. Have they opened up orders again? Not pre-orders, but orders for the super telephotos, the 800 in particular, because I know that had been shut down for a short time. I'm just wondering. Oh, man. Let's see. Where was that comment? Joseph, here we go. It went to 51. Then when I came back, it went to 48. Maybe that's what I need to do is just open the channel up and let everybody just chat rather than actually get on here myself. Actually, I think it was up to like 59. That's why I said, oh, please don't go anywhere. I will be right back. But that's the way it is, and I understand. Jim says, J-Rod Photo Art says the 800 orders are still locked out. Wow. So you got to wonder, and Nikon's going to release some other lenses. Man, this is why I tell everybody, if you know you want something, the best thing you can do is, absolutely, JG, I'm going to be at WPPI. That's a plan. I hope to meet a bunch of people. Matter of fact, I'm going to get a couple of shirts made up with AP Studios on the back, so it's easy to identify me walking around in there. Back to the the 800 and new lenses and things coming. That's why I say Nikon's got to step up their game. They really need to find some more production capability. I'm not so certain that it's all supply related because too many camera manufacturers seem to be able to produce some cameras during that period. So hopefully Nikon is on the ball and they found some secret sauce in production as well. They need some strong kung fu to get these lenses and camera bodies out. And you can bet here, no later than right after WPPI, I may be on a big rant if Nikon has dropped the ball and keeps us all hanging on for something that they can't fulfill. But get ready. We're going to get those notifications from Nikon. We didn't anticipate the desire for blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right now. And Nikon, if you guys do listen to my little live stream, I'm telling you right now, that's not going to fly. And there are so many people that are willing to go to another brand. And it's not because the other brand is better. It's equal to, and they have camera bodies and lenses ready to sell. Okay. So Nikon, you got to do something to help us out here. All right. Hank DiNardo. Listening to Chuck and watching the game, a ton of long white lenses on the sidelines. Yes, there are. There definitely are. I understand. I think Nikon's on track to, well, the lenses and the camera bodies, at least with the Z9 right now, and the possibility of a Z8 here real soon, I think Nikon's on track. If they can deliver, they're on track to make up some ground that they've lost. So we can hope that. Let's see. Yeah, it's a good point, Jim. And there have been discussions about that, adapting lenses too. But again, we go back to Nikon's got one body out there that not everybody can afford or is willing to buy. The Z8, that's what I was going to say. If you want a particular camera or lens, the best thing you can do is build a relationship with one of these less than global camera shops. I mean, B&H is a fantastic place. I love it. I shop there all the time. Adorama, the same thing. But when it comes to hard to get items, new items, that is not the place to go unless you've got some inside connection or something. Smaller brick and mortar stores that are online nowadays, building a relationship with them will help you out tremendously, and letting them know that you're standing by for a particular lens or camera body will help you out tremendously. That's how I've had a chance to get most of the camera bodies that I've bought earlier than most people. And I'm not NPS, by the way. We don't want to go down the NPS road that I went through in January. I thought was ridiculous. December and January. But anyway, get in bed with a good brick and mortar. Let them know that you want to be on any list for whatever item you're anticipating, and be an early bird and be ready to purchase it when it does come out. That's the best way to get these things. I understand for the super telephoto lenses by Nikon, it wouldn't help you much. It would help a little maybe, but not much, because they're just not producing enough of them. There isn't anything we can do about that, though. Yeah, the 2 to 600 will break the computer system, and the Z8 will break. I mean, it's going to be a meltdown. Why? It's not because the Z8 is that great, although I do anticipate it being a fantastic camera. It's because all the Nikon folks are sitting out here waiting for that camera. I say all. I know there are some of you out there that don't care. You're not going to buy it, and I understand that. That's fine. You're happy with your whatever you have. That's great. But there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be ordering that camera. That's going to be harder to get than the Z9, I believe, unless Nikon's been building this camera for the last year. But, we can only hope. All right, let me get rid of the crawler on the bottom there. And again, anybody that would like to come on, just email me at that email address that was crawling on the bottom of the screen, and we will bring you in here. So Hero Shots, I told my local shop to put me down for a 2 to 600 as soon as it's announced. That's great, Hero. That's the way to go. A lot of people don't want to. They call us beta testers because we're willing to take it right off the production line. And that, call me a beta tester, but you know what? I've received the cameras earlier than most people because I was willing to do that. I'd already saved up the money and was prepared to buy as soon as it was deliverable. So again, I just encourage everybody to do that. And hang on just a second. Let me compose an email here real quick. Hang on just a second. I don't know why I can't find your address, your email address right now. Shoot. Briar, send me an email and I'll respond to it, buddy. Sorry about that. I can't find your email address right off the bat. It's been a while. Maybe I can do it this way. Nope, not going to be able to do it this way either. Nope. All right. Yeah, just send me an email and I'll respond to it. Yeah, great idea, Hero Shots. That's the way to go, man. If you really want to get something, you got to start early. And like I told the story of the D800 when it came out, everybody was, I'm not getting it, blah, blah, blah. And then when it actually was announced, you couldn't find one. I called, I downloaded a list of all Nikon authorized dealers in the US and started calling. I went down the list until I found a little shop in Kentucky, believe it or not. He says, yeah, I've got one. And I said, I want it. And I got it way before everybody else just doing that. Nowadays, it's easier with all the online ordering and things. And Hero says, I'll go with the Z8 when it's announced as well. Good on you, man. And Jim says he's been good at ordering. Yeah, you know what? This year, it was a bit different with the Z9. It seems like Nikon USA held out a substantial number of bodies, excuse me, just to sell themselves. Well, Jim, when I say local, it's not. I'm just talking about a brick and mortar, something other than the big stores. I order. I buy all my camera bodies and lenses, believe it or not, from Picture Line Camera out in Salt Lake City. It's a great store, and I've been fortunate to build a relationship with them. They know me when I call. They know what I'm calling for. I'm not buying all my knick-knack, bits and pieces from them. But when it comes to camera bodies and lenses, I'm going to call out there and get on the list as soon as they are willing to start the list. That's why I was saying, excuse me, the 85 1.2, as soon as B&H puts it up on their website, then that's all they need out there at Picture Line for me to call them up and say, hey, I want to get on a list for it. So that's how I got the Z9. Other than the debacle with the NPS orders, and I'm still not over that. It's great. I did the same thing, Hero. I bought the 1-400 and the 2X teleconverter before I even had the Z9 in my hands. All right, I'll try that real quick. All right, guys, give me just a second. Let me jump over here. I think. Wait a minute. No, never mind. Got it. Here we go. All right, Briar, sent, buddy. Okay. Joe Mack says he, excuse me, ordered my R7 through my local shop. They got it to me a week before launch. I sold 4 of those cameras within that week. Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, that's the way to go. Again, you have to establish some kind of a relationship with the shop. You may find one that'll do it just on, off the cuff for you. But this is a reason to establish a relationship with one of these stores other than the big retailers. And I know there are other ways around, beating the system. A lot of people found ways to do that for the Z9 through Amazon and Best Buy, and Mozman helped. Who was it he helped? One of you guys with a Z9, just because Best Buy would offer up a Z9 every now and then. Anyway, that's what you have to do. Or if you're just happy to sit back and wait, that's fine too. Me, not so much. I don't want everything that comes out, but when something's coming out that I want, then I'm going to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to get it as quick as I can. Ritz. We had a Ritz right here in Danbury, Connecticut, and it's gone now, of course. I guess all the Ritz stores are gone. Okay. Daryl saying he had ordered. Oh, hang on. We got Mr. Breyer. Can't hear you, buddy. No audio yet. I hear something clicking. We're close. Oh, no. I heard it click, but still no audio.
How about now?
Oh, I'm getting bits and pieces. Did you go through Chrome?
No, I'm on.
There's the problem.
Mac. I went through
Okay.
Safari. Okay, so let me.
Safari
I'm
is
gonna hop out.
Is a pain. Okay.
I'll hop out and install Chrome.
Okay. All right. Chuck made me buy the 1-400, but that's okay. Well, thanks, Jim. Yeah, the 1-400 is a great lens, though. It's just a fantastic lens. So Mega Briar Patch, Mr. Briar will be in here with us again in a minute as soon as he gets Chrome pulled up. So by the way, if you want to join, I will say this: Safari is terrible at running Restream through your browser. Chrome seems to work best. So I found that out after trial and error, but that's the recommendation. Open the link in Chrome and you're in. John Ishii, yeah, Ritz was a long time ago. Yeah, I thought I'd seen though they phased them out. They wasn't all the stores that went at once. I thought there were some that hung around for a little while. Oh man, so many places are gone. It's really terrible. Robert's camera. I bought a camera from Robert's way back when too. It was another store. Greg Wilson, my first Nikon D70 was from Ritz. Yep. We had one here. I don't know what it was, 10, 15 years ago now. I don't know. I can't remember when it went away. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay, Hank. So up here in Danbury. I'm actually in Brookfield, which might as well be Danbury because we sit right on top of Danbury. That's great. All right, Jim. I guess you're going shooting in the morning. Well, man, have a great night, buddy. Thanks for dropping in here with us. Always good to see you. Okay, Gary F. Used Photo Pro is Robert's camera used department. Okay. So I'm going to wind up doing that with some of my F-mount glass. There's no need in me keeping all this F-mount glass that I'm not using anymore. I know I could. I have an FTZ adapter, the original, but I do have a problem, and Daryl and I are going to try to get together here before too long. I do have a problem with the FTZ adapter on my 400 2.8D. I have a AFS-D, and I don't know what the issue is, but I don't have any problem mounting it to the only DSLR I have left is my D500, which is going to go by the way as well. I bought that, and this is one of those things. The D500 is a fantastic camera. Don't get me wrong. I carried it around quite a bit, shot some events with it, but I just didn't fall in love with that camera. So it's another one that's on the hit list. It's going to be going here before too long as well. I've now sold off all my D850s. I've sold the D800's long gone. D810's gone. My D700, my D4, my D5. I'm down to my D500, and that's what I do now. I use what was old to fund what's new. Matthew Card. My first camera 28 and a half years ago, I got for my birthday a Ricoh KR5 Super 2. Came from Ritz Camera. Okay. All right. yeah, I liked having a local brick and mortar. It's just so nice to be able to go in and put your hands on something before you buy it. However, it's, you know, the times have changed and we just don't have all those little stores anymore. And those that are small stores, I think, are even really struggling to stay afloat. Matthew says, sell it in the chat. That's actually how I sold my other D850. My last D850 was basically talking about it on here and somebody wanted to buy it. Yeah, I'm gonna wind up, even my beloved 200 f2. I just don't shoot. It's a lens that you will try to find a reason to take it out and shoot with, but I don't know. Maybe it's time to let go of that as well. Anyone want a D500? Yeah, I don't want to turn this into, my own, my personal sales platform. Oh man. Hey Tim, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Jonathan again with the 2 to 600. That's how popular this is. Or you can buy a used 2 to 500. Yep. And I wouldn't give anybody any, everybody's always asking, should I wait? Should I whatever? I can't give anybody any recommendations personally anymore because I don't know what Nikon's going to do and how long it's going to take to actually get something in your hands. Well, somebody said, and we knew this was going to happen. We're 4 years into mirrorless with Nikon or about. Eventually, F-mount glass was going to drop in value. Hang on a second. Let me bring in Mr. Breyer again. Hey, Breyer.
Hey, Chuck, can you hear
me? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Listen to that. Perfect.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't had Chrome installed, so I'm glad it works. Great.
Everybody meet Mr. Breyer. Breyer's been around the channel for a long time now. He's a plank holder, actually. He hadn't been on in a while because he's a busy man. He's a working photographer, unlike me. That's his business. So how's it going, buddy?
Going well. Had a good holiday. Spent a lot of time with the kids. Business slowed down, but it was fine. I was okay with it. With the real estate photography, we've been so busy for a couple of years now. Everybody wanted a new house during COVID. Mm-hmm. Now that everything's starting to renormalize again, the market's starting to stabilize. The interest rates have gone up, so things have slowed down, but it's fine. It's already picking up again this year. So, well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yep. Keeping your photo business dreams alive. Certainly trying. Yeah, but doing okay. I mean, and I don't have any weddings scheduled this year. I have just a couple of weddings, but I have a lot of marathons. So that's a lot of Saturday morning jobs in addition to the Monday to Friday. So I'm fine. I'm good. I don't want any more work this year. I don't want to work as much this year as I did last year. I'm going to spend more time with my family and the kids. Well, that's good. That's good, man. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a live stream. I think Vahagan is going to join for that. Vitali from Touch Life Studio, and Anthony Toglife has said he would like to participate too, and do a live stream on just the business of photography. And at least with those three individuals, you've got wedding and event, you've got portrait and corporate headshots and things like that. So that anybody that has thoughts of starting a photography business can pick the brains of these guys that have been successful in it, and talking about, whether you're going to incorporate or whether you're going to be an LLC or be sole proprietor. And it's specifically aimed at this. This will be not that people can't get something from it that aren't looking to become a working photographer. Of course you can get something from it,
But for those that have asked this question in the chat so many times, how do I start a photography business, or how do I start into? I may John, if John's still in here, I may try to get John Ishii in here to talk about starting into, they can ask questions about starting into photojournalism, although that's a whole new animal nowadays. But we're going to do that here before long, and maybe next month have that live stream and talk about the business of photography, because a lot of people think I love taking photos and I'm doing all these wonderful things, and it's so much fun, and people like my photography. I think I'll become a working photographer without even understanding the backside of that, all the work that goes into the business side of it. And that really takes a lot of the fun out of the whole photography thing. The concept of just being out there shooting and everything, yeah, that's great. But now you got to go into the business side of it, and that's the part you're going to not be so happy about. So anyway, try to give everybody that experience in that live stream. Let them talk to them about, what it took to get started, what it takes to continue. And John just said, sure, he'd be part of it. And I appreciate that, John. I'll get you some more details on it. So we're probably going to do that in February. Like I said, probably I don't know, looking at February 11th for a stream. To just sit back and let these guys that are working photographers talk about it. All right, I've rambled on and repeated myself more than enough there.
You reinforced it. No rambling. Yeah. You reinforced what you said.
That's what happens when I'm in there by myself.
You do great, Chuck. You do a great job. I tune in every Wednesday and every Saturday. Typically, I'm working Wednesday. I'm on the road, but I'll listen in, and I always enjoy it, man. You do a great job.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And I tell people that all the time. You don't have to watch it. You can listen and get 90% of what we're doing over here on the channel. But
yeah, if I'd watched it, I'd been in quite a few car accidents by now, because I'm always on the road on Wednesdays.
All right. Well, good to have you in here, man. So you see a comment come up, by all means, the rule, jump in.
And yeah.
Let's see. Matthew's trying to sell my D500 for me here. Just went on B&H. They'll only give you in their quote, $587 for a D500 when you include battery and charger and body cap. Well, I've got the battery grip for it as well, so I get another $50 for a $300 battery grip. Oh man.
If you don't have a small mom and pop to try to sell back to, then I'd recommend just getting in one of the Facebook groups with other photographers. There's always somebody looking for something. Join a Facebook group and post it. That's what I've done, and I've gotten more money than I ever would at B&H or Adorama. Maybe not the mom and pop that I buy from directly. I don't think they have the same overhead as B&H and Adorama, but
right. I had success on Facebook Marketplace, which I felt was safe enough because I could set the terms for meeting and everything else. Yeah. And it's always worked out real well for me.
Yeah, I just don't know people,
Yeah. It's just a pain, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It's always easier to just sell back to the store that you're buying from, but you just don't get the same amount back,
Yep. Oh man. Joe Man's Land. Joe, I'm sorry I missed your premiere. I don't know how I missed it, man. I had the computer set up, the volume turned up so that when you went live, I would hear it, and I didn't hear it. I was in the other room. Sorry about that, brother. F Mount Glass rocks in your books. Yes, it does. I know you're still rocking F Mount Glass and all the other unusual lenses to go along with it as well. Luke says he agrees. All right. Let's see. Joe says, on the topic of buying used, I always found getting good value buys from private buyers in Korea was so hard, usually 10% more than value. Oh, wow.
That's good. That 10% extra is what you'll get if you don't buy from the brick and mortar, or if you don't try to, trade with the brick and mortar. That's
Right.
10% is about what you'll get. Every $1,000 you get about 100 more. So that's about right.
Yeah, and $100 is $100 nowadays, isn't it?
Yep. Sure
Nothing
is.
to sneeze at.
Right. It's a lot and it's a little at the same time.
Yep. So we've talked about the A7R5 a bit this evening. Lee was in here talking about it. Had quite a big conversation going. What's Canon doing? The R6 II. Has anybody played with the R6 II yet in the Canon camp? Because was it DP Review? Not DP Review, or yeah, it was, wasn't it? Just did a review on it, and I think they were very happy with it. And I bring up the R6 II because, again, we're seeing this new tech and AF and other things being dropped down into the lower tier cameras. And again, this is why I say Nikon has a one camera lineup, because we don't have that new tech in anything below the Z9. And Nikon needs that more budget friendly camera, the Z6 III. I don't know how budget friendly it's going to be, but you can bet it's going to be cheaper than a Z7 III, a Z8, or a Z9. And Nikon needs that because there are a lot of people that would like to upgrade that aren't going to go out and buy a pro camera.
Yeah, I think as long as they stay below maybe 2400 on the Z6 III, I think I'll go for it. I'm looking for another camera for wedding camera, for a wedding cam. And then also I'd like to have a better autofocus system, backup for all the marathons and stuff that I shoot. So that's why I think, and I'm going to keep, I have the Z6 II as well, but I use that for real estate. And I'd kind of like to use that exclusively for real estate, because you get such a high shutter count.
Yeah.
Shooting real estate. So.
Yeah. That sounds like a good plan. I'm interested in the Z6 III, even though I'm interested in the Z8, of course. I keep talking about
You're
that.
invested in everything.
Well, true. Not the Z7 though.
That's the only one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But all the full frame gear, it's everything is tempting. I mean, I'll be tempted by Z8, but I don't think I'll buy it. I just don't have a use case for it, recreationally or, for the jobs I do.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it is for me, and I know this doesn't apply to everybody, but my motto is, I don't need it, I want it.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, I guess with me, I neither need it nor do I want it. I've got 45 is great with the Z9, 45 megapixels, and all that speed is great. And then I just want high quality, high ISO, camera. That's what I'm looking for.
I made the statement that if the Z8 is the high megapixel camera, I'm not jumping on it right away. I don't know.
Yeah, wait and see.
Honest.
Yeah.
I may if we were to get the Z6 III and the Z8 at the same time, and let's just say the Z8 is going to be some monster high megapixel camera, 70 megapixel or something. Even at 61, I don't think I'm interested. But I'm not really that interested in that camera if that's the case. Not that I think it's bad or whatever. I don't want it. And there it is. I don't want it. Higher megapixel. And I may opt out of the Z8 and wait for the Z6 III, because I'll tell you what I really do want is the newer video features that we see in the Z9. And those are going to trickle down as well. And a lot of people keep saying, give me a Z6 III with 10-bit internal. And that's what a lot of people are asking for. And Canon's done it. Sony's done it. Fuji's done it. So that's the next hurdle for Nikon, is give us that. And I don't see why they won't. So
yeah, I think they're going to do it, Chuck. They can't afford not to anymore. Just like that new processor, the XP7, it's going to be in everything full frame, I would hope.
Yeah.
Z5 lining up.
Joe's asking, after I just said I can't give anybody advice on what they should do anymore. Should I trade my Z6 and drop 300 to 400 and grab a Z7? If you want the megapixels, man, I say go for it. But you know, and you're going to get a better buy on that than you will waiting for the Z6 III or Z7 III to come out. If you're looking for megapixels, you know, the Z7 III and the Z8 might, well, depending on whether we get both of them or not, you may kick yourself after the fact, Joe, but maybe not, because you like shooting F-mount glass, so you're not that caught up in new. Just use one more megapixel, and that's fine too. That would be a good deal right now. That Z7, Z6, and Z7 now are going for nothing.
Yeah, they've become very high value. The quality of the pictures are great out of both of those cameras. I miss my Z6. I wish I would have kept it. I would have used it for the real estate, and then, you know, would have traded in the Z6 II, which would have been a better, you know, trade in for the Z6 III.
Mm-hmm. Tim says Z6 better for video, Joe. So given your use, you use it for your content, I'm not sure what you're getting in return stills wise compared to the loss of video. Good point. Good point. It's a tough call, man. Everybody, you know, a lot of people ask, not just me, but in the forum, every stream, somebody's asking, what should I do? Should I wait? Should I get this now, or should I whatever? And the way Nikon's been delivering products, it's just so hard to tell people, well, just wait a little bit longer. You know, people were saying that last year about the 2-600. Just wait a little bit longer.
And you might be waiting for 2 years.
Huh? Yeah. And here we are still waiting.
Yeah. There is one thing that I'm pretty sure of, though. I think the order that they're going to release the next 3 full frame cameras, it's going to be most expensive down to least expensive. Because I think it's just like with the, you know, with the super telephotos, all the primes that they've released, you know, that all came out before the 200 to 600. And that's because half of those folks might have bought the 200, 600 and skipped on the 600 and the 800. You know, it's just that's the way they have to do it, at least from now, at least until they cycle through where they've replaced every lens, you know, every F-mount lens with, you know, with something comparable in the Z mount. You know, and then they're going to scatter things just as, you know, as needed. But I think for now they're going to release the most expensive stuff first to make sure they make that would have been
a great plan if they could have delivered on the lenses, but they haven't. And now you can't even order the 800 millimeter PF lens.
Yeah, they shut it down. Yeah.
So that if that was the plan, then it backfired on them because they couldn't deliver them. So if they could have fulfilled their orders, then that would have been a grand plan. Great idea. But now, I mean, is that the reason you think they've held off the 2 to 600 because people would opt for it rather than?
That's what I think. I mean, it might be about parts, but I think it's about money more than anything. It's just for now, just for this first push where everything, all these lenses are a first, you know, first time replacement for their F mount, you know, cousin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause if they would have released, I mean, geez, even, I mean, you know, I love the Z9, but if they would have released a Z6 III with a battery grip with the new processor and all the same autofocus capabilities, I can't say that I would have bought the Z9. I would have probably bought the Z6 III and I wouldn't have worried about the Z9. Because it's an overkill for what I do. Now the wildlife stuff is great for birds and everything, birds in flight. It's superb for that. So I'm enjoying it, and I don't regret getting it. But if they would have released something less expensive with the same autofocus tracking capabilities, I would have bought the cheaper version, you know, first. Yeah, extra megapixels be damned, you know.
Yeah. Well, what was I going to say on that point? You know, you're right. A lot of people, we talked about this way back when, and you were around in a lot of the streams then. People bought the Z9 because it was the latest and greatest. The price point, I think, is what brought people to the Z9 that would not normally have done that.
You're right. That's another reason I bought it.
Yep.
They should have been 6,500. I wouldn't have done it, but 5,500, I couldn't resist.
Exactly. So, you know, that's, I think that's what brought a lot of people into the Z9 camp, is the fact that it was priced right. And then again, it was the absolute latest tech. out there. How many people bought it for its video capability? There are a few, believe it or not, that did. Most didn't. They bought it for the AF and the other pieces that aren't as tangible. Silent shooting, shutterless, which most people didn't even understand what that was.
Right. That's great in church. I can tell you that, man. Church
Yep.
weddings, I love. You just, flip of a switch and you're silent, and
Yep.
it's great. It's great. It's so convenient. It's just little things. And then even the backs, the backside illumination of all the buttons,
Yep.
For a dance floor, it's just, it spoils you rotten. I wish they put something like that in a Z6 III or even like a Z8. That they might be able to attract more low light photographers, including some wedding photographers, if they made the Z8 with back button illumination. But I don't think they will. I think they're going to save that for the flagship every time.
No, that's not. The D850 had it.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't have a D850. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. If they do, that's just another temptation.
I think anything that's going to be considered a pro body, I think will have that. I think, does my D500 have? Hang on. Yes, it does.
Wow.
Even the D500 has backlit buttons.
Oh, that's nice. See, I've never owned the D500 line, and I didn't have a D850, so I wasn't even aware of that. Man, that's attractive. That's nice.
Yeah, so I think we can rest assured the Z8 will have it, no doubt about it. Now, will it filter down into other bodies as well, prosumer bodies? I don't know. Could that be something that Nikon's changed? Nikon has changed its tune on a few things. And that's one thing I'm happy to see about what they're doing actually with the mirrorless cameras. And I don't know. If Nikon had more production capability, I think we'd all be a lot happier.
Of course, they're so much smaller than Sony, and I mean they're a big corporation, but they're so much smaller than Sony and Canon. They just can't crank things out as fast. But that's okay because it's all less expensive, and the image quality is the same or better. So I'm fine with it. I really hope when they release the versions 3 of the Z6 and Z7 that they stay at the same price point. I mean, if they can stay at, $2,000, I'd probably still buy it if it's $2,400. But if they stick around $2,000, that's just, that's a no-brainer for me.
So everybody's talking about price hikes, with Nikon, and not just Nikon, but all brands talking about price hikes. But I still see Nikon. I don't know why. I just have this feeling Nikon's found the ability to maybe price cut other brands a little bit. Obviously with the Z9, I mean, nobody expected that at $5,500. But let's wait and see what happens with the Z6 III and Z7 III as well, and the Z8. I have no idea what the price point is going to be on any of them. If the Z8 gets a new sensor, when I say new, I mean a new sensor, not one of the anything. If it's maybe it's a different megapixel sensor even. I mean, the price is going to go up exponentially if they do that, because some people are talking about 70 or 80 megapixel even wanting that. I think you're talking about a bunch of money if they go that route. And the other thing is stacked sensor. How many people believe that Nikon's going to put a stacked sensor in the Z8? I believe they are. I really do. The reason I say that is I think Nikon wants to be more competitive now than they have been in the past. And they almost have to. They really do. So I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. But
yeah, the BSIs have become standard. So I think you're right.
And I think the price is going to continue to drop on a stacked sensor build. So
sorry, I meant stacked sensor, not BSI. Yeah,
BSI has become the standard. You're right. But let's see. Tim Hunter says, I'll be waiting 12 months post Z8 release before getting it. I'd rather build my glass out first. Nothing wrong with that at all. Smart move. Moving on before moving on to a new body. Yep. And the fact that you'll be able to get the Z8 after 12 months, you'll be able to go buy it.
You'll be able to order it and get it the same month.
Yeah. Yeah. John, I have a Domke bag. I sure do. And and it's fine other than you got to put your own padding in it if you want and put a one of those little padded cells inside of it. But I like it. It's great for just running around with a couple of items. Let's see. Let's see.
Tell you what, it's going to be tough to buy those new cameras if all that new glass is going to come out too. Though I was just thinking about that earlier when Nikon rumors, just released their most recent article, because I don't think, I mean, man, having an 85 as an option, a 135, that 200 to 600. For me, this might be the year of glass, not cameras.
Yeah.
Very tempting glass.
Well, that's when we basically found out for sure that the 85 1.2 is going to come out soon. We know that.
Yeah.
And why did it have to happen when we expect the Z8 to be announced too?
So they can sell them together, Chuck.
I saved enough money to buy the Z8, and now I'm thinking, man, I want that 85 1.2. So what am I going to do? Am I going to sacrifice, just leave the Z8 go for a while and get the glass? Or am I going to buy the camera body and I can't get the 85? And I don't need either one, but I think I would use the 85 even more for some studio stuff,
Yeah, that's a great focal length. That's a great focal length for in-studio close-up. And if you're outdoors, it's a perfect, full body, focal length.
Yeah.
Yeah. That 85 is something I use. It's probably, other than my two zooms, the 70-200 and the 24-70, I probably use that's my most commonly used prime because it's so versatile.
24-70 stays on a camera all the time.
Yeah.
It's just the go-to lens for me, but I'm a zoom fan. I've never been caught up in the absolute, you got to buy primes.
For me, you'd rather zoom than walk.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can't afford to walk, when you have live events, you can't because you've missed the moment if you try to walk there. So you got to zoom in.
And this goes back to my motocross shooting days. I had a buddy that shot motocross as well, and I'd see him at the races, and he had a 600 f4 on a monopod. Sometimes he had it on a monopod. Other times he's hand holding it, and what a beautiful lens and fantastic. But he was limited. And I'm shooting the 80-400, obviously not near as good a lens. But he would ask me all the time, how'd you get this? How'd you get that? Where were you standing? Well, that's the nice thing about having a zoom, from 80-400. I was able to capture so much more in one position. So I just became accustomed to it, accustomed to, having the zoom around. But the 24-70, I think that even the E and the F version or G version and F mount were great lenses. I didn't have any problem with it. I don't think I would have seen enough difference between any focal length between 24 and 70 with a prime. Yes, there's going to be a difference, but not enough that affected me. So that 24-70 is the walk around, do it all lens for me.
You won't see any difference in image quality. You'll just see the difference in background blur. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. I just like the flexibility. I think that's what it is. You have so much more flexibility. Not that I don't want a 600 F4 or I'd love to have this new 600 TC. Don't get me wrong. Are you kidding me?
That's a lottery lens for me.
Absolutely.
First thing I buy.
Absolutely. Maybe if I cut out my M&Ms, I could save up enough in 20 years. I don't know. But the 24-70 for me is the go-to lens. I agree. So Matthew's talking about, a lot of people also talk about D850, about pro layout, 10-pin jack, PC sync jack, lighted buttons, pro build, and so on. The Z7 III is not a D8. Yeah, I agree with that, Matthew. I agree with that 100%. And there's been this big debate that we, the consumer, brought on by saying that the Z7 was going to be the D850 equivalent in mirrorless. Nikon never said that. But we just decided to say that, or the fans decided to say that. Nikon never said it. So now I think everybody's expecting, well, Nikon's going to make the D850 equivalent in the Z8. Why? Because they both start with 8? I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's
probably.
going to be a pro body, the Z8, and Nikon will fool us all. It'll be the pro APS-C body. Throw us all for a loop. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they're going to have to go into the tens or the hundreds for the crop. Yeah, if they're going to do that for the Z500, because they've used all the all the numbers 5 through 9, other than 8. They're already taken up.
Yep, you're right. So you think that the new APS-C body that they may bring out will be a double digit Z, because everybody's saying Z90 and
yeah. But then everyone's going to conflate it with the D90. They're going to think it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Give it a new number.
Their whole naming convention, I think, threw everybody for a loop this time.
Yeah, I don't know. It was it was interesting when Vahagan released that video about the Z1.
Yeah,
how he that really made me think, man. Because what else are they gonna, what else are they gonna use that for?
Is there a place for the Z1? I mean,
there might be.
It's going to be interesting. You're right. John says he's a Zoom fanboy too. Yeah, I just like my Zooms. I don't mind a few primes. Like I said, I want that 85 1.2. Why? Because I want to shoot it at 1.2. A lot of people say, well, it's crazy. No, that's why I'd buy the 1.8 if I didn't care, or a 2.8 or whatever. I want that. I want that 1.2, and I want to shoot it wide open. Not always. I mean, in the studio, rarely would you ever think about shooting at 1.2, but for creative portraits and things like that, man, are you kidding me? 1.2. And the other thing is, and I say this, I'm just a hobbyist amateur, but still, so many people don't understand depth of field. When it comes to distance from the camera to the subject, shooting up close, of course, the depth of field is razor thin, but at a distance, you have more depth of field. So even at 1.2, you're going to throw the background out of play. So yeah, I want it just for that, and of course, shooting in the studio. So Luke says Zooms are versatile. Oh, they are. I agree, Luke, and that's the reason I like my Zoom lenses. And Tim, thank you very much. Where's the T-shirt? For those of you that are in here right now, if you haven't already, please don't forget. My wife
is that something that YouTube gives you guys, or
no? That's my wife gave it to me for Christmas. That's how much she supports me. Because she would always say, "I don't ever ask anybody to like and subscribe," so she got me a T-shirt to remind me. But yes, I would
need something scrolling on one of those monitors behind you. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Thanks, Tim, for reminding me. You just became my wife just became a big fan of yours because you reminded me. Oh man, Robert Varner, how you doing, sir? Yeah, Tim Hunter, buying a 1.2 to shoot at f8 would be like buying a Tesla to convert it to combustion engine. Yeah, exactly. So, but a lot of people feel that way. Why do you need 1.2? Well, you don't. But again, if you're going to buy a 1.2 aperture lens, then why don't you shoot it at 1.2? So, yeah. There's my brother in here giving me a thumbs up tonight.
Oh.
All right, brother. Thanks for dropping in. Oh, man.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to probably shut it down at midnight tonight unless 100 people show up, and then we'll keep talking. Because, again, I go back to, I haven't received an email in a long time, but early on I would get emails from people from time to time saying, your stream is too long. I couldn't even figure out how do I answer that?
Time just goes, man. I don't think you think about it once you're into it, especially if you're as busy as you are and you're kind of the maestro for everything.
Well, the thing is that it can't be too long because you can always, go away. You can always,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. For the
turn
folks
the
who stuck
stream.
around for 4 hours, they only
Yeah.
wanted to be there for 2.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's
Unless
on
maybe
them and
that,
not you.
yeah. So I used to laugh about it. I didn't know how to answer it. And it was bizarre to me, but I try to explain the reason I do it. One, I'm having fun, and I assume you guys are too, everybody in the chat and everything else, because I watch the viewer count up there, and it's funny how it changes constantly. And I've said this before, it only tells me what the max participation was at any given moment, and then the average throughout the entire stream. But I'm guessing 200 or more people will come through this stream over the 3 hours or 4 hours or however long it is, because I see that number go up and down constantly. And I think that it's because of the time zones and everything else. I'm extremely happy that we get so many international folks in here. And it's always great to have them chime in with what's going on in the camera world where they're at. And they can, when we're talking about something here that's U.S. based about pricing or whatever, then they can chime in and let us know, what it's like where they're at and everything else. So I love the international audience. And yeah, if I keep an eye on that, and sometimes, I've been going for 4 hours and I'm ready to get out of here, and I look up there and it's jumped up from, another 20 people have just joined. I'm thinking, well, I can't just shut it down now. So anyway, that's the reason for the long streams and the fact that I have fun. And I'm really happy that so many people hang out for the entire time too. That just blows me away. So yeah, thank you all very much. Everybody in the chat, as always. Oh, here you go. My wifey and my dog's looking over my shoulder, and wifey asking me, "What are you watching?" Oh, just a bunch of crazy photographers pontificating, speculating, and what else could we say?
Goose guessing. That's
yeah.
Speculating.
He says an instructional video. I guess it is actually chosen. It is instructional based on the feedback that everybody gets in the chat from all the questions that are dropped and how they're answered.
Just tell her it's AI and Chuck and I are not real.
There you go. Oh, so Diana Ishii. Okay. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate that. And we had a great time with you on the channel the other night. And I love your photography, and I think everybody else did too. And it's always great to see you guys come in, John and Diana. And you're welcome anytime. You're welcome back anytime. I think everybody enjoyed you being in the panel. Let's see. Oh. Oh, we try to confirm local prices, but Vahagan interprets in US dollar and confuses Chuck. Yes. Oh, man. That has happened a couple of times. And somebody said, oh, the price for the Z8 when it comes out is going to be like $6,000, especially when we're talking Australian dollars, because dollars are, and I'm thinking, no, it can't possibly cost that much. But then I understand when I realize it's Australian dollars. Okay. Chosen by design. Let's see. Yes, sir. Your channel make me go buy a Z6 too. Oh man. Are you happy with it? I hope so. If I convinced you somehow to buy it, I hope you're happy with it. I have a Z6 too. Like I said, I have the Z6 right now. That's what I use to stream with. And it's fantastic. This thing will run for hours with the AC mains power. And that 14-30, what can I say? It's a fantastic lens. I mean, shoot.
That 14-30 makes me.
I mean, just that quick. That's how the autofocus in it is fantastic for video. Yeah.
That's the best real estate lens for Z.
Yeah, I love it. Yep.
Great. Hey, Chuck, I'm going to step out. I don't know if I'll be back, but my little guy wants wants his dad
No,
to put
brother,
him to sleep.
go do
So,
that. Family first, always, buddy, always.
all right, I'll holler at you if I can come back in. Okay.
All right, no problem. Have a great night if you don't, Briar.
You
Thanks
too.
for dropping in, man.
Sure. Thanks, Chuck. Take care. Take care,
All
everybody.
right. The Jake from State Farm commercial. Yeah, that was a great commercial, by the way. That was hilarious. Oh man. Yeah, Luke, they are. John and Diane are fantastic folks. Love both of them. One of these days, I hope to get to meet them both. But we live so far apart. All right, John, you and Diana have a wonderful day today. I know it's time for brunch, and go enjoy your brunch. But thanks for dropping in for both of you. Appreciate it. And Chosen, very happy with your Canon. And Sony stays home. Truth, I have fun with the Z6 II. Well, good, man. Good. And again, you won't hear me say that, Nikon's the greatest and, Canon's the worst or Canon's the greatest and Nikon. I truly believe you can't buy a bad camera out there nowadays. It's just all in what fits your hand and aesthetics and everything else. I just happen to shoot Nikon. Somebody asked me that. Why do you shoot Nikon? And I can't answer that. I don't know. I just do. It's crazy, huh? I'm used to it too. So, that makes a big difference. I don't want to learn another menu. I know I could, but I don't want to. And I'm happy. If I'd have started shooting with Canon, I'd probably be saying the same thing. I don't want to go to Nikon or Sony. I'm happy with Canon and, I'm used to it. And there it is. I can get frustrated with Nikon though. That's for certain. Let's see. Oh. Yes, Tim. Yes, I was in the chat and everything else, and I felt bad because I didn't know exactly what she meant at the very first because she just said Camille. But as soon as she said the king's wife, I knew exactly who she was talking about. Oh. Yeah, Frames got pretty animated over that and some other things that she talked about. Having the Z9, I think it was great. It was a great conversation that they had, and I really enjoy Claire. I need to invite Claire in for a live stream too. I told Vahagan in a comment in the chat, I was so close to poaching his guest, but I just didn't want to do that. But I would like to have her on. I think she'd be a great guest on the show too. Oh, Randall. I bought a Nikon because at the time it was cheaper than the rest, cameras and lenses. There you go. There you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and there is a lot of truth. I know a lot of people say once you're vested in a brand, it does cost money to switch brands. No doubt about that. I don't think it's quite as bad as everybody makes it out to be because we in the Nikon camp just, guess what? We essentially just switched brands with mirrorless because we're buying all the mirrorless glass. I had the Trinity in F mount and so many other lenses and, it's funny. It's like changing brands, going to mirrorless in the Nikon camp. I guess Canon folks may feel the same way. And I know Joe Man's Land, he would chastise me because you don't have to go all new lenses at once, all mirrorless. You can use the adapted lenses. True enough, but I'm weird that way. What can I say? Thanks, Randall. Sith says he shoots Nikon because of the glass and Nikon user interface is intuitive compared to Canon and Sony. I can't weigh in on the user interface because I'm used to Nikon. I haven't tried really to shoot. I've picked up and shot, a few frames with a Canon and a Sony. But I don't know if it's more intuitive or not. I guess maybe it could be, but I'm just used to it. So therefore, I can't make a judgment call on whose is best or whatever. And Mr. Wolf, I shoot Nikon because everything else feels weird. Oh man. And again, that's what I go back to when people other than here in the chat or whatever. All right, man, Roy's been out with the internet outage. Glad to see you back, buddy. I tell my stepson, he's got a lot of friends, and of course a lot of them shoot Sony, some shoot Canon, and but my stepson, he fell in love with the Z9, the video in the Z9, and he's waiting for the Z8 to see what the Z8 is going to bring, because he wants to go Nikon. I don't know why, but he does. But anyway, when anybody asks me, I tell them, go put your hands on the cameras and just close your eyes and hold the camera and move the camera around in your hands, and then look at the camera bodies. Because, and this sounds crazy, because I believe you can't buy a bad camera right now. So it doesn't matter which brand you buy, just buy the one that feels the best in your hands and aesthetically looks more pleasing to you. Now, that may be bad advice. I don't know. I don't think it is, but I think that you'll be happier with something that feels good in your hand and looks pleasing to you. You'll be happier and more apt to shoot with it and take it out and use it than you would trying to force yourself to learn to like a camera. That sounds crazy maybe, but at least that's the advice that I give anybody that's a new shooter and looking at buying their first DSLR or mirrorless camera. Let's see. Chosen by Design says, Canon keeps changing the buttons. I can't develop my intuitive constant IQ test. Oh, it's a constant IQ test. Okay. See, I didn't know, because I haven't, I don't really shoot Canon. So that's first I'd heard that they keep switching button locations, things like that. Yeah, you're right. Nikon's kept it very consistent. No doubt about that. Even though the replay button or playback button changed on the Z9, which I'm happy. I like it, the new location. However, when I'm going between the Z9 and any other Nikon body, I'm kind of confused at first, because I want to reach over and hit that playback button in the location it is now. I really like it there. Tim says, I shoot Polaroid because I can't be bothered talking about megapixels. Oh, man. That's great. Oh. Roy was suffering the Australian internet. Sorry about that, Roy. I hope things are up and running. Maybe it's the heat, man. It's messing with the I's and O's floating through the air. Or ones and zeros, I's and O's. There you go. That's how intelligent I am. Luke says, New South Wales. Am I correct, Luke? New South Wales, NSW, is working well, even though it's raining. You guys are internationalizing me here, finally. Gary says he shoots Nikon because honestly, he thinks the files look better in many situations. And I will say early on, I was attracted to the Nikon files as well. But I've said this before too. I like saturation. I like color. I love a great black and white photo. Don't get me wrong. But I like saturation in a photo. And for me, Nikon just had that right off the bat for me. It made me happy with the results. But I also like Fuji. I love Fuji's colors too. And not that I'm opposed to Canon colors, nor Sony. However, we all have to look back at early Sony, and there was definitely some green tint that you had to deal with. Not that you couldn't do that in post, but anyway, straight out of camera. But they fixed that now. So again, I'm back to, I think that, you can't buy a bad camera. Buy the one that feels the best in your hands. Sith was talking about pro bodies. Okay. Yep. You know, and Nikon, I'm sure other camera brands, I can't speak to that because I've not been a long time Canon shooter, Sony shooter, Fuji shooter, or whatever. But, you know, Nikon has its cameras that really stand out. The D4 for me had the best looking photos that of any of the Nikon cameras that I've owned. I don't know why, but I just love everything about the D4. I wish I'd have kept it, but you have to sell off to move on. I like the D5, D850 button layout over the Z9. Yeah, you know, Roy, I guess because I was used to it, I've gotten used to the layout now on the Z9, but you're right. It took a little changing. Let's see. Yeah, so that's what I was just saying, Roy. You're absolutely right. Sony color silence, Sony color science is catching up. I think it's pretty good right now. And you know, over time, of course, you would expect that to happen. Oh man. They are potato cakes, not potato scallops. Oh man. Yes. Well, if we're talking about the same thing, yes, I'm on the potato cake train. At least here. Gary shoots Fuji XT2. Yes, those files are beautiful, given enough light. Yeah, you know, and John Ishii, he has the Fuji what is it, XS100 or whatever, the 100, and he loves it. Okay, Nikon D4 and D5 had Nikon's own sensor. I'll tell you, I give it up for the D5, man. The D5 was a phenomenal camera. The native ISO was phenomenal. And maybe other people don't feel that way, but I got to teach some surveillance classes and I had the D5 and man, oh man, you know what you guys would consider, oh, that's a terrible picture. And it would be for a photograph. However, being able to use that thing in low light at night, because again, we're only looking for identifiable characters or characteristics or things like that. And that D5 was phenomenal. I love the D5 too, but the D4 I think had just a beautiful photos out of the D4. Yeah, GFX 100. There you go. Somebody corrected me. And Sith's saying it's surprisingly close to his Z9. Yep. Yeah, I love Fuji colors. Well, I didn't get to your comment early enough. I may have already answered that. I just think that the D4 was my favorite out of all the Nikon cameras that I've owned. And that's just me. And I didn't own a D3 or a D2. And Vahagen just did that review. What do you have, the D2X or the D3X? I can't remember. And while the colors are beautiful in it as well, the D4 was just something special, I thought. I went from a D700, by the way, to the D4. I know it sounds crazy, but I certainly did. I wanted a flagship. I got one, and I loved that camera. And the D800 right after that. Tim Hunter. Fanboys have nothing, nothing on cakes versus scallops. Luke, the brand wars know nothing of true hatred. Oh, man. Roy saying, his Fuji X-T2 seems to underexpose just a little. Nice images, though. My cat just showed up. He wants some attention. What? No, I can't hold you right now. No. Oh, come here. Make a camera appearance. So we just got shaved because our hair's here. Say hi to everybody. Say hello to everybody. My little bitty kitty. My poor little underfed kitty. Hey, look at the camera. All right. Weighs a ton. Let's see. All right. Well, we got 51 people in here again. Yeah. Yeah, that you heard him, Scott, my brother again. He hears the cat. He's in there wanting attention. So 51 people in here. So these aren't people that just go away and come right back. These are so all the folks that filter through any given time. And I love the fact that we're on long enough that others can jump in here when time's more appropriate for them. But you know, I love all you guys, man. And the ladies too. All the ladies that have been joining us. I'm really happy about that. You know, why shouldn't they be part of the community as well? And I'm really happy. I'm happy for all the folks that have subscribed. I love the fact that you guys show up, and so many people are here for both streams, and it just amazes me. I'm really happy about that. So, you know, thank you guys very much for being a part of the community. You guys again are what make it happen, and we have these conversations. And I don't like to be the center of the conversation. I wish we had more people, and eventually we're going to do that this year. I'm sure there are going to be more and more that join us. I was told one time, "Why do you have all those people on?" I just think it makes it more. I don't know. It's just. It keeps everything going with all the conversations going on. It can get a little hectic at some times, but I don't know. You guys tell me how you feel. I love hosting it. You know what? And I've had the phone over here. Nobody calls, and that's fine. But the phone is always available. I need to find some way to put that phone number up permanently, but it just takes up too much room on the screen. But you're welcome to call in, and anybody who wants to call in, all you got to do is say it in the chat, and I'll flash the number, and you can call in and talk to the audience. All right, Luke, you see, let's see, 54. Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing 51 on my end. Yeah, I'm looking over at the other screen. I see what you're talking about. Who knows? That may be YouTube still trying to poach my subscribers or something. I don't know. Sith says Nikon D3 was a game changer for me. It was for a lot of people, I think. Sold my 1DS Mark II, 1D Mark II when I switched to full Nikon D3 and D4. Wow. Yeah, I know. I did not shoot the D3 or D3S at all. I was still in APS-C. I was shooting a D300S, I think, at the time. Or D300. Yep. We need to go fund me for Chuck so he can get a battery for his son. I actually have it plugged into mains power right now with, just a phone charger. It's a USB powered. So it's working well. All right. Mark Lynch, you're still in here, buddy. You've hung around. Great. Chosen by Design says he sees 54. So I have a counter on my screen that you guys can't see. It's part of, I guess, Restream, and it says 51. I don't care. It's good. I'm glad that we have as many as we do. I'm happy when 10 of you are in here. Let's see. See. You know what? That's a great idea. Thank you very much, Andre. I think I may try to do that with the when we finish the stream. I may try it over on Restream and the branding portion of a restream. Great idea. Thank you very much. Yeah, Roy. See, for those that haven't been around and know Roy, I love the D3, but it's starting to show its age. I still love the D4, D5, D850. I think the only D flagship camera you don't have is the D6. Isn't that right, Roy? I think you passed on the D6 you were saying at one time. And I have a friend that shoots the D6 and he absolutely loves it. Still loves it. Yeah, now I see 54. All right. Great. Restream can't count. That's true. Luke says, hopefully one day I'll go Z system, money providing. That's always the holdup, isn't it? It's always the holdup. Yep, no D6, D850, D850 instead. Yeah, and I got to tell you, I love my D850, but I've gotten a little bit of hate mail for saying the D850 is a great camera. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't going to jump on the bandwagon. It's the greatest, Nikon camera made or whatever. A lot of people want to say that, and it is a fantastic camera. But, that's the thing about photography is everybody has something they like that others may not like or whatever. Everybody has their favorite camera body and camera lens and everything else. And I'm assuming it's the same way in the Canon camp. And I mean, Sony's a little bit young, but maybe there are cameras that Sony shooters have that they, older cameras that they just fell in love with or whatever. I don't know. The Department of Redundancy Department. That's good, Gary. Good, man. Yeah, Roy has a Z8. He's been testing it for a while. Well, Nikon will give him one just to make sure his museum stays up to date. Oh, man. 56. All right. That's great, man. I just saw 50. I still have 54. Maybe it's, I don't know. Who knows what's going on here? It makes you wonder, though, doesn't it? Why it wouldn't be the same on your screen and my screen. Oh, well. Yeah, the EVF, I will say this, definitely on the Z9, that the EVF is fantastic. Anybody that hasn't played with the Z9, if you get an opportunity, pick it up and play with that EVF. It is fantastic compared to, I think, everything out there. There is no lag in it. There is no blackout. It's phenomenal. And the fact that you can actually brighten or dim the EVF and the screen on the back makes it very convenient. Yeah. Nikon needs to send him a D6, Matthew, no doubt about it. So he can keep his museum up to date. And again, guys, when Roy's in here live, I tell you, we bring up something, a lens or a camera body, and he can just turn around and reach over on his shelf and pull it off. So, I mean, you get a visual along with the conversation. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, Castile, it's sold like hotcakes, but it's been kind of a silent seller, the ZFC. A lot of people did buy it, and I'll say this, and I don't mean it derogatorily, but it was a hipster camera, let's face it. And it is a cool looking little nostalgic play for the ZFC. But, with all the colors and everything else, I guess it's Leica-like. Nice compact little camera to carry around. Not something that interests me, but I got to admit, it's a cool looking camera. But it seems like some of the newness is wore off of it. Maybe that's the reason for putting out the black version of it. Although it was only in Oh, look here. It was only in UK that you could get the black version. Mr. Breyer's back. Breyer, you didn't have to come back if you couldn't.
No, all good. The little guy conked out pretty quickly. So
Okay, well, great. Hey, Seth, thanks for being in here, man. I know you got to go. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of the weekend. Well, for you, yeah,
he should be ahead of
Nikon.
us.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know where the date line or I don't know where it is. All right. Have a great day.
The day is 24 hours technically. So,
all right, buddy. Thanks for coming in. All right. And there you go. And you can weigh in. You have a Z9 there, Breyer. The continuous feed EVF on the Z9 is what I want most. Yeah. Or nearly in the Z8 since I like to shoot fast moving things. I was just talking about the EVF in the Z9 is pretty phenomenal.
yeah.
What do you
think? It looks great, and there's no blackout.
No blackout.
And it's 120 hertz now too. So the refresh is quicker.
Yeah, that's why I say there's no lag in it, because a lot of people were talking early on with mirrorless cameras, the lag in the EVF. I don't notice any lag in the Z9.
No, the only time you're going to see any lag with the Z9 is when you're not focused on something. When it goes blurry and you're not focused on anything, you can see that dragging. But as soon as you hit the AF button, it's crystal clear again. That's the only time you experience it, which is it's basically like when you have the camera off and you're not using it, you have lag. That's what it's like. You might as well.
I've heard A1 shooters talk favorably about, the EVF and the A1 too. Again, I don't know because I haven't played with it, but I can't dispute what they're saying. They have the camera. And yes, the EVF is much better in the Z9 than it is in the Z6 or Z7 series.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's it's night and day. And I mean, I use both at weddings. I pop back and forth between my Z6 II and the Z9, and it's it's noticeable right away. Among other things,
Yep.
Different animals.
And Sith says he enjoys his ZFC. Nothing wrong with that, brother.
No way, man. Yeah, whatever.
It is a cool looking little camera, no doubt about it.
If you enjoy it, it's the right camera for you.
Absolutely. Roy has a Felix the Cat bag for Nikon gear. I agree. It is a hipster camera. It's a cool little hipster camera, though. Oh, he's way behind us. Here you go. Thanks, man. For
645. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Cool.
Early evening for him.
All right. And see, we still have 51 people in here. And I said that I was going to go at midnight for me. But I don't want to go when we have so many people that, want to hang around and chat. I'm very fortunate. I have a lovely bride that supports what I do. And she's behind this 100%. Otherwise, I'd be hearing from upstairs, "Are you going to bed yet?"
Yeah. Yeah, the spouse that's important with with everything, but certainly for something like this on a regular basis.
Greg Wilson says, "What? No camouflage for the ZFC?" You know what? They didn't do a camouflage version, did they? And why the black version only in UK? Man.
I didn't know that. I thought it was available everywhere. And
I don't know. I don't think that they had planned to. I think that they specifically said that it would be available in UK only. I don't know why.
I thought that I saw it on the Nikon USA website when they released it or re-released it, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of another camera entirely.
You may be right. Maybe something changed.
Chuck, do you ever go to photographylife.com?
I used to back when it was in his name. You remember the guy that runs Photography Life?
Nasim, I think is his first name.
Yeah, Nassim. That's it.
Yeah.
Nassim. It was under his name, and then they changed it to Photography Life. I used to go there all the time, even after he changed the name.
Oh, he still writes. He still writes articles there, and I think they also I think they're doing a lot of photo tours now. Africa, Brazil, the Galapagos. I think that's where they probably make their money. But I was just wondering, because I thought you had mentioned it before, and it's a great site. I go there a few times a week. They publish articles a few times a week. They reviewed a lot of gear for the gearheads, but I mean the artistic side of it too. Those guys are like they're teachers, and they shoot a lot. They do it all.
Yep.
Good writers too. I always wondered why they wouldn't have a YouTube channel. But I guess it's just not their thing, to publish content that way. But I mean, I'm old school. I love to read too. So,
I agree with you. But early on, it was just himself, his wife, and I think that there might have been one other person helping him out.
Spencer, I think his name's Spencer Cox. I think that's the other guy, and he's still there too. But they've got probably six, 7 people working for him now, and they all do a great job. I mean, they update their content a couple times a week. I recommend that for anybody new or if you've been into it for photography for 30 years, it doesn't matter. They've always got something good to say. They do a great job.
No, they do. You're absolutely right. The articles are very well written, very well researched, and the equipment's very well reviewed, and it's honest. And that's what I always liked about Nassim. I used to frequent his page or site quite a bit when I was moving from one camera to the next early on, because he was very good at his reviews, and especially glass. I thought that they did a great job. But he has a lot more writers now for the site, and I think that really adds to it as well. And you're talking about the creativity using a camera, which they cover so well.
They've kind of got one foot firmly planted in the gear and the other one in the art form. Do a great job.
So Castile asks, do you agree that the current ZF 1.8 lenses behave like G mount 1.4 lenses? They both have 9 blades.
They focus faster than the old primes do.
Oh, no doubt about it. But as far as rendering bokeh, I think that's where you're going. A lot of people talked about that early on. Nikon did not say it. I want to say that they did mention something like that. They said something and got that comment started, that the 1.8 Z lenses act like the 1.4 F mount lenses or G lenses. And I don't know what they meant by that.
Maybe it has something to do with the flange distance or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that can be. I mean, you're limited by the physics, right? By the optics. But I don't know. Maybe the larger mount or the flange distance or something. You have something to do with that.
Well, I think it's how it renders the out of focus area. And a lot of people say bokeh. Yeah, okay, bokeh as far as lights represented in the out of focus area, but just the out of focus area, the blur or the creaminess or whatever. And I'm not a 50 millimeter fan at all, but I bought the 50 millimeter 1.8 early on because it was 1.8. And I was impressed with it. Not just the sharpness, but at 1.8, I thought it rendered the bokeh and out of focus area extremely well. The 50 wouldn't be the best lens to compare the 1.8 to the 50 1.4, unless you're talking older 50 millimeter lenses, which of course Mr. Roy can talk about. But maybe the 85, I will definitely compare the 80. Well, I'm not getting the 85 1.8. That's a dumb statement, Chuck. I wish I had the 85 to compare to the 85 1.4 G.
So you don't
85
have the
1.8.
so you don't have the 1.8 S, the
No,
Z mount version. You don't.
no,
Okay. It's a
no.
great lens. I use it for portraits, for family portraits all the time, and it's just
The
it's wonderful.
the only reason I haven't bought it is because I knew that there would be an 85 1.2 after the 50 came out.
Someday, one day, yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted the 1.2 only, again, going back to more creativity with the 1.2, not for just studio. But I wanted 85 for studio. And why buy the 1.8 when I knew I was going to have the 1.2 whenever it did arrive? So anyway, but I would like to test the 1.8 against my 1.4G 85. I'd like to see how they compare, as far as I know it's going to definitely outperform the 85G when it comes to focus. Man.
Yeah, focus speed and sharpness will probably be better.
Yeah, but I would love to try it for how it renders bokeh, or the out of focus area. Oh man. So Castile, I guess, I'm going to lean towards, I believe that it does compare favorably with the 1.4 G lens, G mount lenses, or not G mount, F mount G lenses. I've heard too many people talk about that it does. It may not be exactly as good as the out of focus area with the G 1.4s, but I think it's pretty close. When I bought the 50, I bought it, like I said, only because it was reasonably priced at the time. I wanted another lens for the camera, and I picked it up, and I was really happy with it. I'm just not a 50 millimeter fan.
I mean, really nowadays for background blur, the applications like, Lightroom and Photoshop and everything, you can blur that background to the, however you want to, just
Yep.
in the software. So, it's hard to say. I mean, I like I say, I'm old school. I'd rather have the lens to do it and not do it in post, get as much done as you can in camera.
Mm-hmm.
That's always my goal. But I mean, I've seen some beautiful portrait work, where they're shooting with a 1.8, and they might not even be shooting at 1.8. They're shooting at 2.2, and the degree of the bokeh, of the background blur is just, it's like they're shooting with a 0.95. So they're not doing it, in camera. It's it's after the fact, no doubt about it. But they look great. They look beautiful. So you can't knock it. Whatever you can do to make your picture look better,
Yeah, and it excuse me, and
Maybe,
it always comes down to who are you shooting for too.
Yeah.
If you're shooting for yourself, and it really doesn't matter if it suits you. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just thinking that I always say old school, but sometimes I wonder if that's just an excuse for laziness. Because I don't want to learn something new. I'll tell you what though, in something that I'm using a lot in Lightroom is now the masking is so good for the foreground objects. You can isolate the foreground, and you can do anything you want with the background, including brightness. And on those days when you can't control the light, you have a high light gradient where your foreground is dark and your background is really bright, you can even that out so much better and still keep it looking natural. I love the new masking.
No, I agree with you 100%. And it will save the day. I know people say, I don't want to save photos. I want to take good photos, but it can save the day because you can invert it and raise or lower the exposure on the subject as well. I think that's fantastic. And the feathering on it's pretty daggone good. It's clean. You don't, it doesn't look so phony and whatever.
No, it really knows, I guess the AI in it knows where things fall off enough to sort of fade that away, to where it still looks natural. But yeah, I use that all the time, the masking. And that's something that I would avoid using Photoshop because of masking.
Well, you
So
know, you're right, and subjects do stand out, but you're noticing that more and more now too, aren't you? Where it used to be, we just did a little vignette to try to focus on the subject. But
isolate, yeah.
yeah, but you know, you're seeing a lot more of it, especially in wildlife photography, and a lot of people will complain about that. You know, I like it. I'm sorry, I
The,
like
the,
that
the
look.
vignetting, you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It just depends to me. Yeah, it depends on the photo, depends on what you're trying to do. But I mean, there are 100 ways to make a picture look, the way you want it to. So
yeah. Hey, Greg, he was in here earlier. He's at a Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs party tonight. So, so he wasn't going to be in the live stream. But yeah, he's been traveling a little bit here lately. So he's been away, but I think he's back, and we'll see a lot more of him here soon.
is that the guy who was a photojournalist and he's retired, or I'm thinking of
No,
somebody else?
D Moots is David Moots, D Moots Photography. He he is retired. He just retired not long ago from his job, but he's shooting a Z9. He and his wife both shoot Z9s. There you go. Having a wife for photography partners, that's fantastic. So he doesn't have the same excuse I had about not having anybody to talk to about photography. He didn't have to start a channel to do that. But anyway, yeah, he's I don't know if he I think he ordered the 600 mil f4. Yeah, he did. I remember because I don't know if he got it yet or not. I'm not sure, but he ordered the 400 2.8 TC as well. And that's been his thing, is shooting wildlife, birds, and everything else since he retired, and he's just having a ball doing it.
I really enjoy wildlife. I mean, it's it's sort of seasonal, but I'm enjoying more and more just to be out in nature, just walking around, observing and shooting when the
Yep.
opportunity presents itself.
Well, I've been shooting it all. I'll just be straight up with everybody. I haven't been. I'm making an excuse. It is kind of an excuse, but it is true. I just haven't had time to go do anything other than now that I'm doing this. Now, if I substitute shooting for this, then the channel's just going to go dead. But I could do that, skip a couple of live streams, I guess, and go out shooting. I just got too much to do. Hey, Von Rant. Good Lord. Von Rat. There we go. Sorry about that. How you doing? Oh man. So we have we're beginning to drop now, 39. Now here's the catch. If I don't get out of here soon, there's a whole nother shift of people in Asia that are going to come in. And the viewer count's going to go up because we're following the shadow on the earth right now. And it's morning somewhere, and more people are going to begin to file through. And that's going to trap me. So I am going to try to get out of here. I think now we have 39 viewers. At least that's what I see on my screen. And folks, I hate to go, but I am going to go here in just a minute. And again, I want to thank everybody that's been in here, stuck with it, or that traveled through, stayed for a few minutes and then moved on. Thank you very much. I definitely want to go over, please drop a like. It motivates me to keep doing it. I'm not kidding you. The likes mean a lot. If you have a YouTube channel, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, start a YouTube channel. And those likes really make you feel pretty good about what you're doing. And if you've been in here a few times and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You'll get all the notifications for when we go live. But really, that's pretty easy to remember since it's pretty standard. We go live Wednesdays at noon Eastern time. And it's always about a 3-hour stream at least. And then Saturday night live every Saturday night. And that starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time here in the U.S. And would love to have you subscribe and become part of the community. Not that you have to subscribe to become part of the community, but it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. That's a secret. Right now, it's a special. You get a subscription free, and for every like you get free. So, man, I mean, you can't beat that deal. It doesn't eat anything. You don't have to water it. You don't have to tend to it. Subscriptions are like that. And you can let them die. You can just let them die. Forget about it afterwards. But anyway, all kidding aside, yes, I'd appreciate everybody that comes through to consider becoming part of the community, subscribing and liking and helping me to stay motivated. Not that that's going to wane anytime soon. And there's Mr. Ted, ATR Bear. Buddy, I didn't see you earlier if you came in, but glad to see you in here. Glad to see you as always. Thanks, Luke. I appreciate that. Good night, Mark. Thanks for being in here. They're saying good night to you as well, Briar.
Night, Mark. Have a good evening. I guess he must be in the States. He's
Let's see. Greg, I don't know what the topic is. You know better than that. Unless something breaks between now and then that's hot news in the photography community, it'll be just like tonight. We'll just get in here and start it out and let it run its own life cycle with whatever. Long Rider, good to see you tonight too, buddy. But yeah,
Chuck,
absolutely.
Chuck, when's the next big electronics show? Consumer electronic, is that end of February or the end of this month?
You mean photography related expo or something like that? Imaging USA starts, I think tomorrow. If it didn't start today,
okay.
It's going to be about 3 days. That's down in Nashville, Tennessee. Then the next big event is CP Plus.
That's what I'm thinking about.
That's in Japan, and that starts the 26th of February.
Oh, that's it. The end of February. Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking that's probably the next big news cycle, probably.
Yep. There could be some hints or something that go on down at, who knows, at Imaging USA. I don't know. I saw their website for Imaging USA. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. It's all photo, video stuff.
Is that a PPA event? Is it?
I don't think so. I think WPPI is.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of then.
And WPPI starts on 5 March. So we got these 3 events going on right now. If we don't get something by the end of WPPI, then everybody get ready because I will lose a lot of subscribers because I'm going on a rant like there's no tomorrow with Nikon.
You will know the topic for that show.
There'll be no excuse. There is no excuse.
Soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Again, everybody, thank you very much for being in here. Thank you for tagging along with us. Thank you for keeping me going all this time. We're not going to break a record tonight. We're not going to break a record for a long time, I think, because our record right now is like 6 hours and 40 something minutes. That's a long live stream. Man, it's a
marathon. That is literally a marathon.
Yep. So Mark Lynch is in Lancaster, PA. So you're not too awfully far from me.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I figured he had to be around here if
Gary F. He's in Dallas Fort Worth area. Looking forward to the rant. Well, you'll hear it if Nikon snubs us in the three shows that are coming up. Chosen by Design, thank you, man. All right, guys. I think that's it. Let me get out of here before I see a surge in the viewers and I feel compelled to stay. But again, thanks everybody for being in here. Thanks for dropping likes. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday. And no, Greg, I don't know what the topic will be. We'll see. And if anybody would like to select topics, if you could just randomly come up with 104 topics so I can cover the next year, I'd be happy. I don't know if there are 104 topics to talk about in the photography world, that is. But anyway, we'll be back again Wednesday. Thumbnail will be out soon. Trying to get better at getting a decent thumbnail. I get chastised by Vahagan all the time. Why are you doing that? Why don't you know how to use Photoshop? Use it. And he's right. But anyway, thanks, Briar, for jumping in here tonight. It's good to see you, man. I know you've been busy. I've seen all your stuff on Facebook with all the marathons and things you're doing, and it looks great, man.
Thank you. It's fun. I'm having fun. It's like semi-retirement, because when you do what you love, it's, you don't work a day, like they say, and having fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Very fortunate, very blessed.
That saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah,
it's
so
very
true.
Didn't realize that until I did photography full time, but it's the truth.
That's great, man. That's great. All right, buddy. I'll let you say goodbye to everybody, and then we will wrap it up.
Bye, folks. Thanks, Chuck.
No problem.
Take care.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. Remember, anybody that would like to be on the live panel, all you got to do is email me before I actually start the streams, or even while we're doing the streams, and we'll put you in here as well. But God bless you all. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I will see everybody again on Wednesday. We will be live, and maybe there's going to be something happen between now and then. We will have a topic. If not, you guys will choose the topic as usual, because it's all about you, not about me.